Hello, hello, and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It is Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time for Ashmatic Analysis. Ash, just on time this time, yeah? Can you hear me? Ash, you here? We're live, you know? Your
Bro,
turn.
like that, I just put on. Hold on. Big up. Yes, people. It's good, Marlon. You telling me, man.
Mate, it's been one of those weeks, man. Ever since Sunday, it's been, can you come on here? Can you come do this? Can you come say this? And I'm just like, oh my God, Spurs are on the brain right now. But it is what it is. We are where we are, innit?
You know what it is? It's emergency meetings everywhere. And they're putting fires out here, they're putting fires out there. Like, trying to, oh my days, oh my back, oh my neck, oh my back. Please.
Bro, I don't think I've seen me and you stream as much as we have done in the last 3 days. And we're done now for Spurs Kings TV. Like, yeah, we'll stick to Tuesday. But you know what? There's so much to talk about. There's so much to go through. And hopefully, you know what? I've been on 3 shows already and I still haven't spoke about Leicester. I have not spoken about the Leicester game once, right? So hopefully we can try and get through it today. But let's bring out the guest. Let's bring out someone who's probably been with this channel from day dot. He was with me before you joined. He used to come on all the time and help me out when we used to do the match reactions. And now he's got his own channel with Adrian. Let's give a warm welcome to Ian. Ian.
Hey, how you doing, boys? All right?
Are you good? It feels so long since I last spoke to you.
It's been a while. It's been a while, yeah, I know. You probably get people a bit less controversial than me at times, but yeah, that's okay. Good to be on with you. Always good to be on with you. And Ash, I haven't been on with you for ages and ages, so...
No,
Yes.
all good and well to see you. The next person, someone's already put it in the chat already and said this boy better turn up. So I'm bringing up this already. And oh my God, people are after you, Aaron. People are after you. So no further introduction. Here he is.
The main, hey.
No, they don't even come to see me and Ash no more. They come to dig you out.
Spelling my name like Orion's belt too.
Give him the belt, give him the floor, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, it's yours.
Are you well, Aaron? How are things, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Just got the flu. But yeah, I'm all good. Sorry I missed the last Tuesday. It was just really bad. But I decided, you know what, gotta come on tonight. Amidst of all this madness and craziness, let's put a smile on everyone's face.
The next guy I'm going to bring out, he's from a big popular channel. He gets himself. He's always been supportive of this channel. He's always supported me and Ash. And he's currently cold. It's cold where he is right now, which is unusual. He's got the big jacket on, and we're like, Ash shorts and t-shirt weather for us, man. But Mari, you good?
Oh no, co-party. Is this the emergency meeting?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Hold up. Marlon and Ash, they look overworked. Ange's they're going to get injured. Ange's even injuring streamers.
Wait, no need for that.
5 hours, baby. We're going 5 hours.
Yeah. Fucking Levy should have bought another Marlon and another Ashmatic.
This is where we're going. Ash, you know what time shirt's going to be tonight with Orange tonight, innit? He's on it. He's on it. He's taking that Calpol and he's on it.
Guys are overworked.
Anyway.
Finally off on a Tuesday to show up. So, like I told Ash.
Anyway, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say I'm saving the best till last because he's making his debut tonight on Spurs Kings TV, and I wanted to make sure I give him a big introduction. Tom, are you well?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold as well, so it's doing the rounds.
Bless our hearts, man. Look at this guy.
Thanks so much for inviting me on, though. I would say I'm pleased to be here, but I am pleased to be here, but not with the circumstances at the moment. But
all right, so we've done the niceties now. Let's get straight into this. Let's talk about Leicester. Right, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna switch from Thursday night because Thursday night happened. We won. We're doing well, and that's probably the league table that I'm looking at the moment. Because what we're fourth, fifth, I can't remember now. But at least we're doing well in that league. Let's get back to Sunday. Ash, I'm just gonna let you start, man. Just getting straight into it. What happened?
The boys are tired, man. No, listen, I'll be honest with you. It's a mixture of things. What can I say? Leicester, they saw a little mentality issue there. I think we just kind of lost it, especially in that second half. There was times, I think there was warning signs at the start of the first half where we didn't have full control, where we were making mistakes, and I think they capitalized on that. And yeah, Vardy, he just took one Red Bull, squeezed it hard. I don't even think he needed Red Bull for us. I think he could have had some water. He would have been fine. He did what he did, and I think some people are saying like, "What did Ange say at half time to them? What did he say to them?" Like, but I just think they just weren't switched on. They weren't alert to what was going on, and they hit us cold, quick, boom, 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 like we normally do to teams. Normally, we hit teams really quick, and if we score a goal, we score like 2 or 3 in a cluster. They hit us with 2. And pretty much after that, we didn't have a Scooby Doo. We had no invention, no idea, no clue what to do. And you look at individuals, you're looking at, I'm sure we're going to get into it, Porro, you're looking at Sarr in possession, out of possession. You're looking at Benton Core, out of possession. You're looking at the centre backs. You're looking at everything. You're looking at the whole team, looking at the setup. And at the end of it, we just didn't have an answer. We did not have an answer. Even after going 2-1 down, we just couldn't get back into the game. And we hardly, in my opinion, created anything worth substantial where I thought, yeah, we're going to get back into this game. That's just how I saw it, man.
Ian, I'm going to bring you into it. How did you see the game on Sunday?
Yeah, it was a must-win game. And how many must-win games have we had? That's what it is. I've got a really bad echo. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I haven't got it broadcasted on anything else. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to log out.
Yeah.
And come back in. It's really distracting trying to talk when you're here.
I think you've got echo. Yeah, you must have echo.
I'll log out and come back in.
No worries, Mari. Let me bring you in then. Talk to me about Sunday. Talk to me.
Well, you've seen the movie Groundhog's Day, right? And the first half was weird because both teams, I felt like it was trying to suss each other out. It wasn't the most prettiest football that you would think. But then we took the lead. But I was never felt confident that we had the game under control. I know Ash is going to probably talk about the tactics. I just feel that every game we invite teams to come back, and if they're not good enough, like the Hoffenheims of the world, and probably, what's the team that we played Thursday? I can't even pronounce it.
Elfsborg, yeah.
Like, we give these lesser teams, if anything, a chance to come back. We give them opportunities, and second half, right off the bat, bang, bang, as Ash says, 2 goals that were just terrible goals to give up, especially the second one with the parting of the Red Sea, the midfield with the defense. It was just a terrible second half, and I've come to the point I don't really get upset anymore. It's just kind of like, as a team, we're bleeding, we're continuing to bleed, and it's just, I try to take some positives, but it's very hard. Like Porro, like that beautiful pass to the
that wasn't a cross, to be fair.
Right? That was the good, right? Then the bad and the ugly with Porro. And so you try to take some positives and some. I mean, it's just, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And really, guys, there's nothing more I can just say.
Bro, you sound like how we feel. Like,
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Yeah.
you know, Ian Bill. When Ian Bill starts crying, you don't know EastEnders, but there's a scene from a popular scene in one of our soap operas, and Ian Bill goes, "I've got nothing left," and he's crying into a bottle, like literally. That's how we feel, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah. So let me go to Tom. Tom, how did you see Sunday? What was your feelings? Obviously, everyone there's a lot of different views on this, but everyone is feeling in a certain way after Sunday. One, how did you think the game went? And then two, how are you feeling after it?
I mean, I don't feel like the game went any different to how I was expecting it to go,
Yeah.
which is the sad reality of the situation we're in right now. Like, I can't remember the last game where we actually dominated the game. Like the first 10 games of Ange, and even towards the end of last season, and actually the beginning of this season, we overwhelmed teams with possession, and not just possession, but possession high up the pitch. Whereas now we're not doing that. So when people are saying, that Ange has to change his ways and stuff like that, I actually think he has, and I think it's actually been to a bit we used to be accused quite a lot of having a high line and conceding from balls over the top. But when was the last goal we conceded because of a high line? It's actually more our defenders giving it away in stupid places, and then it coming down the right side most of the time. Like Porro, for all that he can do good, he can do 2 times worse. In the other direction, like he was at fault for both goals with lazy passes and poor defending, but you saw the brilliance of him with the cross. But then later in the game, 65th minute, he's got an opportunity to play a simple squared ball across the 6-yard box and fires it into the side netting. And it's moments like that. And to be honest with you, I'll let him off and give him. I think that is more down to tiredness. He's probably played the most minutes.
I was going to ask you that. Do you think it's down to
players.
Yeah, is it down to mental fatigue? Because that chance where he has the chance to cross it and he has to make a decision.
Yeah.
What is going through his head at that precise moment to think he can sneakily put it past the goalkeeper?
I mean,
or two times there for the tapping.
Yeah. I to be honest, actually, we have seen Porro put it in from that position before. Like he does have that ability to be able to do it, but the tactics, everything that Ange sets up is for these low crosses first time into the box for players to run in at the back post and stick it in. Like that is the tactic, and the players or the player in that situation just didn't do it. And you get that goal, 65th minute. Then Leicester, who have got lots of mental problems with how they cope with going behind and being pulled back and stuff, then the emphasis in that. You get momentum swings in games from goals, and we saw it, we conceded, and that's it. Our heads dropped. And I think for me, the overwhelming thing that I really, really, really noticed from that game, and actually it was confirmed by Maddison earlier in the week, we have no leaders on the pitch. Maddison said that him and Sonny are leaders in the way that they play, not in what they say. And it was just so evident there that when you can see that early goal, okay, right, heads on, let's just see the next 5 minutes out. Let's not concede another stupid goal, and then we're back in and we go again. And there's no one on the pitch at the moment who can do that.
Quickly on that, do you think that's where we miss Højbjerg?
To be honest, so Højbjerg, I was all for him going. I felt that he wasn't really an Ange system player, but the only reason I was for him going is because my sick, twisted mentality apparently thought that someone would be coming back in. Like I thought we would be getting with Højbjerg to get a number 6 in, and that just didn't happen. Like for all of the good youngsters we've brought in, and they are good youngsters, and they'll be great in the future. We've seen that with Gray and Bergvall, that they will be good players. We signed Dominic Solanke, and that was it. We got rid of so many first team players. Even if you're looking at players like Skip and Winks, we got rid of 3 midfielders and didn't replace them with any. Like it's just complete negligence from the team building side of things, and yet we're 28 days into a transfer window where we could be solving those problems, and we signed a goalkeeper. So
Martin, to answer your question,
Yep.
I said this last night. Yes, I agree with Tom. We don't. I've been harping it. We don't have any leaders on the field. It's hard to show some fight when your ultimate leader, your manager, is on the sideline and he's just going like this. Second half, your team needs an equalizer. For me, he sets the example of these players showing fight. And I mentioned last night. I'm like, if they see their manager, their coach, he's not showing any fight.
But Mari, on that, not all managers show fight. All will show fight in different ways. I know look. I know it's in our culture, in the British culture, that we expect a Sir Alex Ferguson on the sideline. Wenger, in his early years, never used to shout. He never.
I understand, but
asking a manager whether does it make any difference? Russell Martin used to shout on the touchline. Southampton is still crap.
no, I agree with that. But it comes a point in time that, because I would also bring up the point that he's not, because we'll probably get to it tactically. Yes, not the high.
Tactics are a different side.
Not the high line, but the confusion, the chaos. ESPN, excellent last week. The chaos that's going on. There is no even instruction, right? In the sense of, guys, you're in the wrong place at the time. I feel at this point in time we need Ange to show some kind of emotion. And
but
so,
Murray, the thing is, I watch ESPN. I watch ESPN because I stream most of the matches, and you have to remember that all Sky Sports, ESPN, they show what they want you to see. So they'll switch to Ange when he's shaking his head, but they won't switch to him when he's doing tactics or shouting at players. And there was a guy who was on a couple of weeks ago, and he's been at games. And even Alistair Gould says Ange does shout. He's instructing. You're only seeing what ESPN wants you to see because they are directing the narrative that Ange doesn't do anything, because it makes more for drama, more for scene. Ange doesn't do this. Ange doesn't do that. But Pep Guardiola sits in his dugout sometimes. They never say anything about that.
No, I know that. Well, then here's the thing. That same ESPN report, and I'll just have shown it. I'm now channel shown. There is points in time of the game that leads to goals, right? Because Tom brings up the point where the last couple of goals were from the high line. There's chaos. One perfect example: the game that he goes to a back three, right? Where it seems
Mari, don't talk about that game.
And then Gray moves up. We lost Marlon.
He really didn't want you to talk about that game, did he? He's gone.
Has he gone? Yeah.
That's just gone. See, you guys are done. Mentally fatigued. You're not even here. He's messed you guys up.
When Papa Baltasar is now playing in the back three and Gray's forward, it's just like,
no, he wasn't. That's not what it was. It was Puro was forward and Gray was in the back three.
No.
Baltasar was part of the two.
It was that too, but there was another sequence. Gray was all over that place.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but like you have to understand why it was done. It was done because Davies was just back. You see, I get what you're saying. Like basically, no, it's not a problem. ESPN makes it a problem. Because no. You see this whole 3 months, I've sat back and watched what the media have done. They have just kept on doing the same thing. This is why this has been overblown in proportion, and there's no context. ESPN, like Robbie Earl, Mosto, Ange's tactics doesn't work, blah, but they never give a solution. They never say what should he do, because they say that. Oh
yeah, but Oren, should pundits really be given solutions to what he should be doing?
If they can.
No. Just hold on a sec, because we can all clearly see, because it's not just ESPN. We can all clearly see it is not working. You can see.
Why is it not working, Marlon? Why is it not working?
Because he doesn't have the players to
Right.
suit to put in the system. But that's still, if he doesn't have the players, what do you do in that situation? If you went
Well,
to work,
what
right?
would you do?
You switch it up like other
But
managers do.
to what? What would you switch it up to? Do
Okay,
you be more
let's
defensive?
take Areola last week against Newcastle, right? Newcastle will play a certain way. Bournemouth went, okay, we can't play how we usually play, so we're gonna have to switch it up because we need to combat their midfield and put press on them. And the only reason why I know this is because I had a Newcastle fan on with me last week, and he was so surprised because he wasn't expecting Bournemouth to play that way. But they've got injuries as well. Right? And I get the whole 3-day business with Areola, but it's the problem you've got is that if you switch it up and what he's been doing, because at the end of the day, what everyone was also saying with Ange is at the beginning of the season when he had a chance to rotate, he never rotated. Now he's now stuck in a situation where these injuries are coming, right? Because Jed Spence, Archie Gray, Bergvall, these players that are now performing for Ange were not getting a minute at the beginning of the season, and it just meant that Van der Ven, Porro, Romero, Udogie, they were overworked, and it's a long season. And I get the club didn't give him the squad that he needed, but he hasn't adapted to the situation in the Premier League. And this is not just this season. Go look at from after that January, look this year, the results were up and down like a yo-yo. So he can't sit there and complain when it all starts going wrong. You have to adjust in the Premier League. The Premier League is a league that will punish you. And even Manchester City, even the great Pep Guardiola and the great Jurgen Klopp came here, thought they could do it their way, and adjusted. But there wasn't pundits. It wasn't pundits giving them advice. The only advice that I remember pundits giving Jurgen Klopp was go get a defender and a goalkeeper, which he didn't listen to for 18 months.
No, what? Okay, so pundits are not meant to give solution, but what I'm saying is that pundits are always going to point out the negatives constantly.
But they will.
And I'm not saying. Look, by the way, I'm not saying this is bad. They do their job. That's their job.
Yeah,
that's their job.
They're not winning.
That's their job. It's just like the way I look at it. It's like I asked the question: has Ange actually had a full season of fit players?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question, all right? So you never had a full season last year. You never had a full season this year. So I can guarantee, so that we've had 2 seasons of now where he hasn't had a fit squad. So I'm going to sit there and say he's not going to have a fit squad next season. Do you then trust Ange next season, or are you going to use the same excuse?
No one's using an excuse. That's the thing.
You just said he hasn't had a.
It's not an excuse. It's like if you bring the reality is that players are out. It's not an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse.
It is an excuse.
And if you want to say,
going to sit there and tell me he hasn't had a full fit squad.
Yeah, he hasn't. But that's the truth. So basically,
it is the truth. But
that is the truth. Yeah,
he's still got to be able to win games without a fully fit squad. That's
he should. What we think he should. But that's the thing. It's like the Premiership. Ange hasn't played his full system. I don't believe we've seen the Ange system yet. We haven't seen it.
Well,
we've seen it in glimpses.
But 18 months in.
But that's what I'm trying to say. He hasn't had the full set of players. He hasn't had a full fit squad. I would be on the board with the whole Ange and slating him and dragging him under the bus if he had a full 25 fit players, or even if he had 20 fit players, but he doesn't. So the way he's been playing, and also this high line and whatever, again, I've said this so many times. I've watched Spurs play. Spurs only play that high line at the start to get a goal. If they score, they drop deep because they then want to counter-attack. If that team score, like against Leicester, they score and Spurs are behind, then he pushes up to try and get a goal. Spurs could have easily drew against Leicester on Sunday. Easily. If better decisions were made in the pitch. And the thing is about Ange and right now, what he's doing.
About any game.
That's it. Yeah. So what Ange's doing, and I do believe this is like my craziness. I believe that this is probably the best thing to happen right now for that Ange and on all those players. The best thing, because every single manager in the history of Spurs who's been through this thing has done one thing: slated the players, slated the club, and got sacked. Ange hasn't done it. He hasn't broken. He hasn't broken. He hasn't broken. He has every. No, he hasn't broken. He hasn't broken.
Yeah, he's
He hasn't broken.
I
I know that's what maybe some fans want to have, because it's like, it's almost fans want to hear, right, go on, Ange, just start slating the club. Just start slating Daniel Levy.
He's not going to slate the club, but you can't.
But he's not broken.
But he has said for 28 days he needs help.
Yes, but he needs help, but he also understands. See, Ange, what I like about Ange as a person is the fact that he understands reality. You tell me, if any one of you guys, right, were a professional football player playing for a club that you're settled in, why the fuck would you want to come to Spurs right now? Tell me. Who would want to go to Spurs right now and play if you're coming from a nice settled team?
I 100% agree with you there. But players would, like Nico Williams, he's got this buyout clause, and part of the buyout clause is that he needs to be paid 300 grand a week. Well, if we paid the buyout clause and paid the 300 grand a week, he'd be a Tottenham Hotspur player, but we ain't going to pay those wages.
Never going to pay that. That's fine.
And so it's
Spurs have never done that.
No, but Spurs have also not won trophies in the last 20 years.
That's why they can't do it. That's why they can't do it. They never won trophies even before that either. Well, it's not
changing, isn't
but
it?
what? Right, but winning trophies, is that down? Okay, so when Pep Guardiola wins trophies, do you see the City's chairman lifting the trophy with him?
No.
So basically, they have to prove, and like Spurs haven't won trophies. I know that they haven't won, and it's not like Spurs were winning loads and loads of trophies. Yes, I think there's an FA Cup in '91. Before that was 1981, and then it wasn't like they were winning trophies year after year after year after year.
No, but Spurs were winning trophies more on a consistent basis than we have in the last 23.
Yes, in the last 23 years. 24 years, you would have to say that, look at the teams that's come up. Spurs are winning trophies when the like of Man United, Liverpool, no, not so much Liverpool, but United were falling off. Man City wasn't even around. Now you have the likes of
Spurs were winning trophies when Liverpool and Manchester United and even Arsenal were dominating. Spurs were still able to win trophies in those years.
FA Cup and a UEFA Cup. Yeah, and that's fine, right? But if you look at how Spurs came close to winning trophies in the last 10 years.
We've been in a final or two. We've had opportunities, but we've always we haven't built on the success that
of that. Yes,
yeah.
Right. So you go to a player and say, "We almost won the title last season. You might win it this season. Come to Spurs."
Are you not telling me that when we got to the Champions League final? So let's use Liverpool as an example here. Liverpool got to the Champions League final the year before they beat us in it, and they built on that by buying even better players than they
went and bought Alisson. Yeah, they saw what the problem was in that final, and they went and spent £70 million on a goalkeeper because that was the bit that let them down in that Champions League final. 12 months later, what are they doing? Winning.
They won the Champions League against Spurs. Liverpool invested in that money because that was the one position.
You just said they didn't win the title, but they
won the Champions League.
Yeah, but that points tally they had that season was the most a team in second has ever finished.
Yeah, but they won the Champions League. I'm saying they won the Champions League.
Yeah, but they still built on it. And what did they do the year after that? Did they go and win the league after that?
Yeah, they did. But Klopp won the league. Klopp's the manager. So Klopp went and bought these two players, and he came from
more than that. It was more than that because there was also,
he came from pedigree of how to win. If Poch had won trophies, we went and basically then you would attract players. That wasn't the case.
No, but Poch did. So I'm going to sit there and tell you, Poch didn't. So Poch, let's take it back. When Poch came in and Poch left, Poch didn't realistically have to win trophies. It's what we wanted, but we were telling Daniel, back this manager because he's proven that he can do it. There was no rebuild. He went and got Mourinho, who nobody in this fan base wanted, right? But he thought he'd go and get a checkbook manager. That's what he is. And go and try and do it the Tottenham way and not give him what he needed. So it was all pointless, all relative. So Daniel Levy has made a terrible decision. Now, I go back to Ange, right? So with Ange and Daniel Levy, if anybody had watched Celtic, and I'm going to go to Ian in a minute because Ian would have been proven, right? Anyone had watched Celtic would have known exactly what Ange was going to bring. And that's exactly what Ange has brought in the way, the style of play and the way he has. He had the best team in Scotland, so it could work for him. But the problem is in the Premier League and in the Champions League, completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, I just want to quickly before we go to Ian. I was
Yeah.
going to say, look, when it comes to injuries, look at the history, the track record going back to Celtic. So injuries is always going to be a problem every year. I will bet my paychecks. BDB will be hurt every year doing what he needs to do. Get out of jail free card. He will be injured every year. So you got to sign 2 or 3 more center backs.
Yeah, because I saw their record together as well. Vicario and Romero and Van der Ven have only played together 26 times. They've won 20 or 17 of them, drawn 3 and lost 3. But
Yeah,
that's your issue. But that's your issue.
yeah,
If they're always good,
yeah.
Romero can never stay fit for us through his period at Spurs. It's always a chunk he misses out. Van der Ven has now proven in the last 2 years he's going to get injured. So the likelihood he's going to get injured next year. So we're going to be sitting here in a year's time going, oh, okay, we've got the injuries. Let him, he can get away with it again because he's got injuries again.
Yeah.
Ian, come in.
No.
Yeah.
And then,
Before Ian comes in as
the
well.
last thing,
Let Ian come in, man.
I'm gonna bring him in. I'll bring him in.
I agree with Warren that Ange does understand reality. He understands
does,
the
yeah.
reality. He understands the reality of working with Daniel Levy. So that's why he told the line. We've called him a yes man, and so I agree. I agree with Warren. Yes, he understands the reality of Daniel Levy and the board, and he's not going to rock that boat. That's what we call him a yes man. It's the truth.
Your call is important to us. Please hold the line. Your call is important to us.
Well, I
Please
want
hold
to
the
ask you a
line.
question. That's what it was. I just want to ask Ian, is it for Leicester? And obviously we've lost Everton, so it's like been a pattern of play. Is it the players that need to be taken for accountability? Is it their fault and they keep making the same mistakes and they keep making the same errors, or is it down to Ange and the way he's setting up and the type of goals we're conceding? And before you go into answer that, is it more, because I know it's, some people say it's 50-50, but are you leaning towards 60% it's the players' fault and 40% Ange, or is it the other way around where it's 60% Ange and 40% the players?
I don't know that I'd want to. I don't know. I'd want to tie myself down that. I think there's a couple of things that really come to mind. And I've got the sec, but I'm going to have to say this and go off. All I can hear is me echoing. It's almost impossible for me to think. I think there's certain systematic problems with the way that Ange plays. The number of times you get 2 passes, and sometimes there's a 20-yard gap between the midfield and the defence. And Leicester's second goal was an absolutely classic example of that. And we concede that goal far too often. People talk about the high line. We haven't really conceded a high line goal all season. If we have, it was a long time ago. We've conceded a couple of set pieces. But I think there's a couple of problems at the moment. One, the players are exhausted. And Tom was alluding to this. It was something we talked about earlier. That when you make, in fact, it was on Sunday's show, Tom, that when players have got tired bodies, their minds get tired and their decision making is bad. Now, I know we talked about that Porro chance, but I don't think last season, particularly with the way they trained with knocking the ball across the goal for players coming in, that Porro would have made that mistake earlier in the season when he wasn't so tired. So there is that. I think a lot of the players aren't good enough. I think that what we've seen for this club, this is not just down to Levy. This goes back way before that. That there is a softness about the club that goes much deeper than Ange, than Levy. There is almost like an acceptance, as long as Tottenham plays pretty football, wins the odd cup, which we haven't done as much, although talking about earlier that we've had chances, that everything is okay. We do not have, as a club, the mentality of a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Chelsea after Abramovich came in, Manchester City after the The Arabs came in. They create a winning mentality. Now, Ange must have that because he's won in Scotland, he's won in Japan, he's won in Australia. But actually getting that through the club, I think, is proving much more difficult. And I think we have. And I'll give you an example: Maddison. Maddison is a typical nice Tottenham player. But is he the one you want in the trenches when the going gets tough? Because I think he's got sussed out. I think Southgate sussed him out, and I think Ange has. That mentally he's weak. He'll do some nice touches, nice bits, score the odd good goal, but is he in there digging in when you really need it? Bergvall has it. Bergvall has it in spades, but the boy's 18, and you're asking Gray is the same. You're asking boys to do men's jobs time and time again. There's a number of good points coming in the chat. I mean, at the end of the day, even when we've had a full squad, the results beginning of this season weren't particularly good. We drew at Leicester. We should have won that game comfortably. We should have been 3 or 4 up before they got a sniff. Newcastle away. I didn't see it all because I was in an airport departure lounge, but I caught enough of it to see that we were more than dominant. Again, didn't win the game. It's difficult because I think that there's a couple of things. One, we're in a semi-final next week, second leg of a semi-final. We get there, we're in a cup final. By God, everybody wants trophies. Particularly you guys are a lot younger than me, all of you. So my eyes have seen the glory of the cups at White Hart Lane, and I appreciate that there are a generation of you that haven't. The other thing about Ange is that if Ange was to be sacked tomorrow, all doors lead to Levy, and I think that Levy would want to keep that barrier between him and the supporters, and he will lose that. Thirdly, and it's in the chat there, if Ange stays, we get relegated tomorrow. I don't think it's that simple. But the other thing is, who does anybody think would come in, would want the job, good enough to take the job, would leave a job in the middle if they were at a club? People talk about Arola or Thomas Frank or somebody like that. That would come in and be able to make changes instantly. The transfer window will be shut by then. The injuries will be the same. I just don't see it. I genuinely don't see it.
Ian,
but
I could answer that question. I could answer that question, but carry
go
on. So everyone's looking at it. So yes, you're right. I do agree with you. Tottenham are not going to pay someone in the middle of the season to get them out their contract. The problem that Tottenham have got, and this is where us fans come into play, is there are certain managers out there right now that haven't got a job that could do a better job. That could do a better job than Ange. Right? If they came in right now, they could, because they're just tactically more. They will see what they've got, and they tactically would be able to get it right. Because I don't care what anyone says, we should not be 15th. 10th is the lowest we should be, even with the team that we've had.
I agree. I agree.
And the fact that we lost to, it's not even the Arsenal game, we don't expect to win. It was more the performance. But the Everton game and the Leicester game were signs that are very worrying, because tactically, it doesn't. When the players are flawed and tired, I saw times under Poch where the players were knackered, but he was able to sometimes get the result and change it slightly, so the players wouldn't be getting to a point where they're trying to defend a 1-0 lead and they're completely knackered. He'd be able to go start, stop, start, stop. But with Ange, unfortunately, it's you got to go all the time. Now, the biggest concern for me that's been the concern for weeks is our midfield. And what's been allowed to happen. And that second goal was the exact point what's been happening to us all season. There's too much space in that midfield. And the fact that Sarr played and he was not fit, it should never have played. Because
you can't defend that. I can't defend that.
And and if he had put, and everyone will go back, if he had put out a youngster or put out someone else there, but no, he's showing us his hand, and a lot of people would go, he's really got nobody. Like, he's really got nobody, and the club are sitting there, and as we've all sat here and said, 28 days and win a window, and they haven't really backed him up. But I know with the way our squad has been managed over the last 3 or 4 years, this is why we're in the situation that we're in. And unfortunately for Ange, he's either got to manage it better, or Spurs have got to go in and get someone that unfortunately doesn't fit the style and is going to be here for 6 months. You, at this present moment, if I said to any of you, do you trust Ange in a relegation battle? He's never been through one.
No.
Would you trust him?
What I want to ask is, if we go on, sorry, Murray, go on.
No, I'm just saying, the regulation battle, you have to do two things. Those teams, as best as possible, are trying to build a solid shape, and you have to somewhat be pragmatic. And that very first town hall meeting that they had beginning of this season, where basically he's mocking those who find some form of pragmatism to get the result, to cross the line. He kind of made fun of it and said, "We're going to do it the Tottenham way." Right now, we needed to do it any way to stop the bleeding. And I used this analogy a couple of weeks ago. We are a team that is bleeding. We're hemorrhaging. We need to stop the bleeding. And he is not the guy. We joke around. Okay, call Big Sam, call Sean Dyche, call whoever. But these guys have historically stopped the bleeding, right, for teams who are about
Yeah.
Historically, sorry about that. Going to get demonetized. Great song. Those guys have traditionally stopped the bleeding. Right now, the whole fan base can feel it that, we are bleeding, and the tactics, the way he sets up this team, we're continuing to see the same results. Yes, you could talk about the quality of the players, but like you said, Marlon, this is a squad, right? Because we made all the predictions in summer. It's not a 15th place squad, even with the injuries. There's no excuse for Leicester. There's no excuse for Everton. Absolutely no excuse.
Go on, Tom.
Oh no, I was just going to say with the players that we played on Sunday with, where do you think that team would end up in a full? If it was just those 11 players, and obviously subs and stuff like that, but if that was your main core 11 players, where do you think that team would end up in a Premier League season with, a decent manager, not Ange, safer?
Who's
Where?
coaching?
It does depend on who's coaching.
Yeah, who's coaching?
I think that's very key.
Okay. Yeah. So, say Thomas Frank then.
Better than 15th. I'm being real honest.
But what? It's a bit of a loaded question, because would that team finish in the European places and be playing
with Thomas Frank? No.
Maybe
because the reason why I'm asking that question is those 11 players that we played on Sunday are playing 2-3 times a week, and I don't think we're really registering how much of a difference that does make on things. Like you play a game, the next day you recover, then you have one training session, then you're playing a game again.
But do you think with Thomas Frank though, and this is why it's not just Thomas Frank. I'm looking at other managers that don't play the front foot football. If you're playing a different style where you're not constantly running for 90 minutes like Ange will expect you to be, do you not think then the tiredness actually doesn't become a thing? And if the management of your in-game management is better, you will actually see a less tired of squad, because again, we'll go back to the beginning of the season when he had time to rotate, change, bring players in, and he never, and now we're stuck in a situation.
So for me, that is my biggest critique. That is my biggest critique of Ange, is that he didn't rotate the team when he could rotate the team. Yeah. And now he's having to use players that he didn't seemingly want to use in the thing. So hopefully that builds a bit of trust that once we get our first 11 players back, or whoever it is, that he will actually rotate those players and give them the rest that we kind of need and stuff. But there's no guarantee of that.
But personally, from your point of view, Tom, just to get you on that, do you think when the players do come back, do you think he will learn from this mistake, or do you think he will go, you know what, they've played so much, I'm not going to rotate them as much, and he's just going to go back to playing Romero, Udogie, Van der Ven, and keeping them on as long as possible?
It's difficult, right? Because if you look at the statistics, as you said earlier, when our back five players, our first back five players, Udogie, Romero, Van der Ven, Porro, and Vicario all play together, we win way more matches than we lose.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, like Dragusin, he's not. He's. I don't know why we bought him, because he doesn't suit the system that Ange
No.
wants to play. He's not a passer of the ball. He's just he's a in your box defender. Like under a Conte or under a Mourinho, he might have been a very good defender for us, Dragusin.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
under Ange, not so much. Like my biggest worry is I know we're laughing and joking like Big Sam Dyche, they keep you up, but then what? Like, what do you then? What happens after that?
Tom, I've got a concern. I don't know if I'm the only one on the panel that has this. And last season, actually, I'm looking at it, and I said to myself, I'm not too sure when we get these players back, we go back up, we move up that table again. And I was a bit skeptical. Lo and behold, we got those players back last season, and we had a bit of a stinker. Now, some people might say, oh, because we had to play the top five, and that's the reason why we didn't do too well. And our performances kind of petered off. But then I looked at this season when we did play, I think it was Brighton, if I'm being totally honest, which was the biggest shocker. The way we capitulated against them after going 2-0 up, and the goals we were conceded was down the right-hand side. And guess what? Romero was there, Porro was there, Van der Ven failed to stop a cross coming in. And then it went into Doggy, who miskicked, and then it was a goal. And then off the top of that, that's when the mentality shifted, and people will jump. And look, Oren, come in whenever you want. Jump. I know you're just keeping quiet. I don't like you quiet there.
He's getting taught a lesson at the moment.
What I'm saying to you, my brothers,
Just letting everyone
it's
talk.
like us Spurs brothers. Like, I don't know. Like, when these players come back, there is a possibility that the mentality issue that Ian spoke about might still be there. I remember, I think it was Dawson. Mari wants to kind of get that off his chest, but Dawson actually brought up, like, he's been there when it's not too good and he's in a dogfight. And I think it was under, who was it under? What manager was it under? Ramos, right. So it was under Ramos. They weren't picking up points, and the fans were getting on top of them. Do you know what I mean? And they couldn't really turn it around. I'm looking at this team, and I'm not sure if they've got the steel, if they've got the belly, if they've got the minerals to come out of that dogfight, like we were saying before. You know what? We're playing Brentford next, and a lot of fans are nervous that we're not going to get like the points we need to get through that game, because
honestly,
like, we're playing the game every 2 seconds, and so the energy levels are going. And any prep on the actual pitch.
Yeah, sorry, I cut in there, but we've got 3 games. Forget Elfsborg tomorrow on Thursday. We've got games against Brentford away, Liverpool away, Aston Villa away. It's not in beyond the rest of the realms of possibility that we drop further down the table.
Can't wait for City.
We go out of 2 games.
Spurs beat City. This team beats City.
I don't want to be the prophet of doom here.
It's going to take the parting of the Red Sea on that one.
Yeah.
But Ash, I was going to just say, because I wanted to rant on Michael Dawson, but it's funny because if Michael Dawson, because I was going to say, well, you've never been 15th, but yes, you were there during Juan Ramos, and when that happened, guess what happened?
To be fair, Murray, he was bottom. He was bottom of the league.
Yeah, the bottom league. But you know what? Why is he complaining? Because they got rid of Ramos and they brought in my favorite coach of all time for Spurs, Harry Redknapp. So it worked out well. So what are you talking about?
Go on, Tom.
So who's our Harry Redknapp now then?
Harry Redknapp.
I would take
Harry Redknapp.
This is my biggest problem.
I will take Harry Redknapp.
There's more chance of me getting the job than Harry Redknapp.
Go on, Tom.
My biggest problem is I'm not wedded to Ange. Like I think the results over the last few months have been deserving of him getting sacked. And no one can argue that. We've won 1 game and drawn 1 in the last 10, 11 games in the Premier League. I'm not absolutely wedded to him. My biggest fear is I don't trust the board to get in a manager that takes us forward. And
That's the biggest question.
like, you can get your Terzic in, or you can get your Allegri in, and go back to being a defensive team. But
Which
then
they can't
what?
do.
I just it worries me, because we're clearly not very good defensively. So do we really want to put the onus on being even more defensive?
Tom, I will say this. I'll steal this from Sava. The thing is, we're thinking too far ahead. We're thinking about now. We're bleeding now. What can stop the cut
But
now?
The word of the day is bleeding, everyone.
I'm not thinking about what's going to happen at the beginning of next season. Yes, we're going to have to coach. But what can we do? Because right now, this team is sinking and sinking and sinking.
I agree.
And the 3 games that you mentioned, it's gonna get worse unless a miracle happens. Because I'm not placing bets on the next 3 games.
But Mari, all of our problems now has become because the board has always thought of now. They sacked Poch because in that moment we weren't playing well. When actually, if they had thought in the future and long termism and actually backed him, we wouldn't be in this situation that we're in now. Once Mourinho started going, oh no, I want to win this trophy rather than worry about the league and Champions League, Levy sacked him. Levy's always thinking of now rather than actually thinking long termism.
Tom, I agree with you. If it's not,
so Levy's not thinking of now though.
Let me finish. Let me land, as the guy said.
You've been landed all night.
I agree with you because it's Levy. If it's anybody else and they get rid of Poch, right? They want Poch to be gone and bring in Jose and back them the way they were supposed to back them, then trophies galore, right? We get trophies. But we're dealing with Daniel Levy. That's why it's a bad. We should never hired Conte and Jose, because it's a bad marriage with him and Levy, right? It's not bad if it's anybody else, right? Going to do a now move. Okay, now I'm going to get Conte, and I'm going to give Conte all the resources that he needs to get us over the top. It's only a bad move because Daniel Levy is not that type of guy. So it's a bad marriage. It should have never happened because we all know Levy doesn't work with win-now managers. But right now, he needs to not hire a win-now manager. He needs to hire a stop bleeding now manager. Stop this bleeding. Stop what's going on right now.
If we hire Sean Dyche, do you really think our best players that we've got are going to want to stay? Like, genuinely,
not long term, but it depends.
I'm not talking about. Sean Dyche is not going to be our manager to the next 3 or 4 or 5 years. We're talking about now.
What are we talking about? Seriously, what the fuck are we talking about, Sean Dyche?
This is how bad it is. This is how bad it is.
But Oren, you're laughing, but that's where we're at the moment.
No, that's where your minds are at. That's not where Spurs are at. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just so much over exaggeration. Like, it really is.
It is. Like,
over exaggerate. Okay,
it's over exaggeration. Like, come on.
Mari, one second. Oren, talk to us then, because we are we're sliding down the table, and teams around us are catching up with us, and we could be by the end of this weekend. I believe we could be 16th because Everton and who play each other? Leicester play each other. Yeah, so one of them, if they win, we're going to be 16th, and there's no wins coming from anywhere, right? And if you go and look at Leicester's season when they got relegated, quite similar, and everyone said they were too good to go down.
Is Maddison in that team as well?
Maddison was in that team. Tielemans was in that team.
Yeah.
Hold on,
right? Injuries galore. Yeah.
Was there a question?
Was
there a question? I thought it was just.
See, but that's the problem. Yeah, but that's the problem, Oren. This is your problem. You're not actually listening because.
No, I am listening.
No,
Stop 2 seconds, Marlon.
You're not listening.
No. So carry on.
Because you're going on what Mari's saying, and you're thinking, oh, we're chatting about Sean Dyche. but you're not looking at the reality here of what
I
actually is
am
going
looking
on.
at the reality. I
You're
have
not.
looked at the reality. I am looking
You're
at the
not.
reality. I've said the
You're not.
reality over and over and over again.
Yeah, but you've said
basically-
for the last how many weeks that it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And Andy
Yes,
this, Andy
but
that.
when players
we
get
went,
back,
we went to Tamworth and drew 0-0. That is
right?
embarrassing.
So what? So fucking what?
It's not
Flip
so fucking what.
It is so
not.
what? It's
not.
so what? It's you understand what's happening. Players are injured. Players are overplayed. We understand the situation, and I've said this over and over again.
Whose fault's that? Because you're not.
Whose fault is it? It's just the Premiership. It's just the Premiership.
It's just a Premiership.
It is.
It's not.
Spurs are in 4 cups. Spurs are in 4 cups. If they were playing 1 game a week and this is a situation, then yes, every right to be over dramatic, every right to be fearful, whatever. Spurs are still in 4 cups. They have major injuries. They've had.
Let me ask you this question: why is it not happening to Liverpool and Arsenal then, and they play exactly the same amount of games as us?
Because Liverpool and Arsenal
and they've got injuries. They've got injuries.
Are you going to let me answer?
Yeah.
Right. Liverpool and Arsenal, they have experienced players who've been there for a long time. So is Arsenal. And if you want to bring up Arsenal, remember 2-3 seasons ago, we all sat in stream laughing at Arsenal finishing 15th, laughing at Arsenal getting relegated. What did Arteta do? He got the players he needed in.
But he spent a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, oh my word! But he got the players he needed in.
This fall ain't done that yet.
Yes, that's not. Spurs don't do what Arsenal do. Accept that fact.
So we're stuck.
No, there's no we. We're not stuck. You are stuck. Every fan who gets irate and fearful, they're stuck in a reality that's not going to happen. Spurs are not going to get relegated. Far from it. Spurs are going to get their players back. Mickey Van de Ven's back in. They're going to get back up. All those players that have been played, all those. Would you let me finish? Flip me. All those players that have gone through the dirt in the last 3 months, slated by pundits, constantly getting slated by everyone who wants to just drag them down, they're going to be mentally stronger. Archie Gray, Bergville, Roddy Dragusin, right? They've had to go through the tough times. So basically, when those players come back, of course, Ange's going to play them because they're experienced now. They've adapted. They know what to do. Ange was rotating Spurs. In the Europa Cup, he was playing Roddy Dragusin and Rustin Romero. Roddy Dragusin got sent off. That's probably Ange's fault. So basically, he then had to pay Romero. So this situation that's happening right now, what I'm seeing is every time that those teams hit that pitch, I'm inspired by these players. Because they could just easily sell up. We've seen it. Conte, Jose, Poch, they stopped playing. They stopped caring. They stopped playing. Fans booed. Those managers were gone. Whether we liked it or not, whether we said back them, whatever, they stopped playing.
Results were better.
You like the fight?
Yeah, exactly. Those results were better, but these players stopped playing for those managers, which made the managers got sacked. Conte.
What happens if the players come back and the results don't improve? Because
that's a different matter. We cannot speculate of what happens.
Let me finish.
Sorry, yes, you can. Sorry, Ian, you can. You can speculate in that. I'm going to speculate what happens if the players come back and results do start improving. Because that's what Ange and those players need to believe.
Let me finish my point, Oren. And my point was that the results deteriorated from November last year when we lost to Chelsea. Not November last year, November the year before. So we're now talking about a period coming up 15 months. Yes, we've had injuries, but 15 months is an awful lot of excuses to be making. And that's what really worries me.
The most word I've heard is keeps excuses. So that's the word. Yes, you're absolutely right, Ian. Absolutely right. That did happen last season. But what was also happening last season? A massive clear out. They were getting rid of players who didn't fit, who'd been the Deadwood, Eric Dyer, Emerson Royale, to a certain extent Pierre, because when Pierre left, no one was really we should have kept him. Didn't suit the system. Skip, all these players. So now you have a new bit of players coming in, which is Skip. And now what Ange and the Spurs board have realized is right, what players now do we need to get rid of? Because we all thought that Ivo Bissouma was going to shine this year. Everyone thought that. We thought he was unbeatable. Last year, first 10 games, he dipped. Ange gives him another chance. He hasn't stepped up. He's going to go. Romero, I think, this summer is going to go. I personally believe that Romero doesn't suit the system. I know you like him. I know fans like him. But the way he's been playing this season, I think he came in with an injury and he hasn't stepped up. And he's like Angie gave the captaincy to Vicario, Romero, and Son, and was it Madison as well?
Yeah, Madison. Yeah.
And these guys were meant to be leaders. He's seen now they're not. Angie's going to go, right. I think Madison stays. I think he stays. Angie likes him. But the likes of Eva Bissouma and Romero, I think Romero's going to go in the summertime.
So
That's why I think.
Do you think Ange will stay? You don't think Ange will get the sack there?
Angie's not going to get the sack. Because Ian, you made a brilliant point. You made an absolute brilliant point. If Levy was to sack Angie now, can you imagine the fucking backlash he would get from all around?
But listen, I think, and Tom can come in any point. You guys can jump in any point you want. It's not a like you, then you, then you. Just jump in.
Yeah.
I just think Ange is getting the luxury of the cups, not the luxury. He's getting the benefit of the doubt of the cups because, as you said, he knows if he sacks a manager before a cup final or before, then it's going to look like it's his fault. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, if you go past the League Cup, if he gets the FA Cup, technically you get into Europe. Not technically, you do get into Europe. And then if you win the Europa Cup, you get into Champions League, right? Which kind of fits into what, like normally, if you're not in there at top 4 or top 5 or top 6, then, Levy normally panics and gives them the chop. So I think that's what he's actually giving him. If Ange wasn't in any of those cups, I personally think if we got knocked out by Coventry, broski, I think he's dead man walking. He's gone.
Do you not think though?
Go on.
Sorry, do you not think? No, sorry for interrupting you, but do you not think so? Also, it's the injuries because I think if I personally believe that if Romero, Van de Ven, and they had a full list of squad, and they were 15th, Ange would have been sacked because it's bringing a new manager. That manager's still in all the 4 cups. Give him a chance, but I think they look at it and go. Injuries. That's played a big part.
We
were
inconsistent with them in the lineup. It looked like we were gonna finish. Okay, my prediction earlier in the year was 8th, right? So it looked like we were going to probably finish 8th with those guys in the lineup. So I mean, when everybody goes back, the same symptoms were still there. Yes, okay, I'll give you the injuries have made it even more I can't even say the word, but the symptoms were still there, going back to the latter part of last season.
Did you hear what I said? I said like this season was that the last season was a complete clear out of all the players that wasn't needed at Spurs. We all knew that. This season was to see who else is going to be the clear out. And there's been sussed. It's been sussed. Who? Because if you compare Lucas Birdville, who's 18 or 19, to Bissouma, who would you rather have in your team right now, or any time? A player who's sprinting forward at 90 minutes, right, to close down a goalkeeper, or a player who's going to try and do a pass, fuck it up, and then concede a goal?
I'll answer your question because number one, Birdville, right? I believe under a better coach that he will be. I mean, I'll be honest. Like we're going after dribbling. I feel so bad for Gray. I really feel so bad for Gray because under a different manager like Areola, he will be put in the position to be able to shine. So that's.
But Gray is shining. How is he not shining?
But then Bissouma, right, has been an enigma, right? There's been games, right? Beginning of the season, I went ape shit, whatever you call it, because assuming they track back, which left our defender left a lot of space in the middle, and our center backs exposed for a goal. I forgot which game it was, but
every game.
Yeah, every game. It's been so inconsistent with Bissouma to the point if he leaves, I'm not crying if we lose Bissouma. Part of it is the player. Part of it is the tactics, where if there's one mistake, we are so screwed because people are not positionally. Someone in the chat put it perfectly. Ange does not have these players disciplined enough to be in their position where they need to be, even if there's a mistake by one of the players. And that's where we leave.
But That's
So-
down to the players,
wait.
though. That's on the
So
players on the
basically,
pitch.
Orange saying is
It- it-
Orange
it-
saying, but wait. Orange saying, to be fair, Orange trying to say, and some people in the comments, and some people honestly think this, that if we get better players in that position, Angie Ball, is that what I'm saying? Angie Ball will
Yeah,
work better.
yeah.
That's what you're saying. But
Co-
Mari's point is, in that system, we play because the positions are left naked. For example, when Basuma is playing in the defensive role, he's got to cover the fullback that's pushed on, right? That might be Porro, right? So if he's got to quickly switch off to protect Porro, then all of a sudden, oh no, what about the middle of the pitch where I've just left? I need to run back and cover the middle of the pitch. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wait a minute. The other fullback's pushed up. Do I need to cover the left fullback? Do you know what I'm trying to? Are you glitching, bro? Is that the Matrix? Yo.
Me?
But yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry.
You're right, yeah? No, I'm joking. I hope you get better still. But yeah, back to the
Yeah, oh, okay.
so if you put, like, let's say you put I don't know what midfielder, what six you want to put there.
I mean,
Supposing you put a top. Yeah, go on, Tom. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, I completely, like, what you're saying is, and like from both the point of views, I completely understand it. I think it has been proven with Ange Ball, if you want to call it that when it works, it absolutely works. And when you've got all the players there, because the first 10 games of last season, when we had every single one of the players that he wanted there in that moment, we were unplayable. Like, yes, okay, you can argue that teams started to find us out and they started to adapt to what we were doing and stuff like that. But the situation is if you give Ange better players, of course we're going to play better. Is the club going to give him better players? Well, this transfer window has changed, but he's not going to do that. And therefore, if the club isn't going to give him better players, then actually it would make sense for them to get a manager who could get more out of the players that they're willing to supply. Who that manager is, I don't know. I mean, someone mentioned it earlier in the chat. There's that Hoeneß from Stuttgart, who plays actually very similar to Ange, but is a bit more reserved. And that makes more sense to me. Like, my biggest worry is if we flip and flop between completely different styles, we're just always going to be a yo-yo team.
All right, let's stick on that, because then you've got. I think the argument is there's managers that have philosophy, and then there's managers that adapt, and I think that's the big talking point. Are you wanting to back the managers that stick with their principles, their philosophies, meaning that front-footed football, attacking football, that means you need to buy specific players for that system. For example, for Ange Ball to work.
Sorry, Ash, but that's not exactly what the issue is here, because any manager can stick to their philosophy. The problem that Ange is getting with this heat is he can stick to his philosophy, but there has to be adjustments to it to make sure he can, when their teams are doing stuff to basically.
I hear that, bro. I hear that. But I'm saying some managers have like, for example, the manager we were linked with before we got Ange, Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann can adapt. He adapts quite a lot. He tweaks his formation depending on the opponent. Whereas Ange, he's got a particular style of football, and it's basically when they press relentlessly. They don't stop. And that's that Gergen press, that high energy stuff.
But let's take Almiron for a prime example, though, because he's come out and said recently, "I'm sticking to my style," right? And then went and played Liverpool, realised he couldn't stick to his style, and amended it for that one game. Now, sometimes this is what you need to do, but he's gone then back. But he hasn't got the players either.
What I'm trying to get to, and I want to bring Ian or Oren, whoever wants to jump in, they can say it, because I think with this manager, I think he still believes that, and you guys are saying it, once we get our players back, we go back to, and people say we don't always play the high line. We've adapted depending on, because we haven't had the players. But I think when we do get those players back, and when we have looked our best, actually we do have a high line. Yes, we actually do press, and Van der Ven and Romero being there means that the fullbacks can push higher up, which means we win the ball higher up as well, nearer to the goal mouth, and then we score. Or if we don't score, we win the ball back in the second phase when the teams are trying to get out. So that's basically his thinking, and he wants.
Ash, it's worked everywhere he's been. It's worked everywhere he's been, except for in England.
That's what I'm saying. So he's not going to adapt. He's not going to change. So that's what my point is.
No. But I think the question is, when I hear you speak like that, it's like, yes, that's exactly how it's meant to be, and it can't fail. It can't fail because you're compact. You win the ball high up the field time after time again. You're not going to concede because you're winning the ball high up the field, and you're going to score goals because you win the ball high up the field. But the reality is different. I mean, first of all, the players do get injured. It is a very high intensity game that you can, you need to have a big squad to rotate, and I don't think we'll ever have that. Too often, when we do lose possession of the ball, the gap between the midfield and the defence is horrific. The amount of space, the opposition number 10 or whatever has to play in between the lines is horrific, and we end up conceding goals. You may not know it or remember. I live in Scotland. I follow Celtic up here. I was so determined that we should get Postecoglou rather, and not Angie, by the way. I don't know where. I think Harmless Potato was singing a certain Rolling Stones song to what you're saying, but just going back, we're getting found out, whatever the lineup is, by too many teams. And I'm not saying sack Ange now, because God, this wash, rinse, repeat cycle has got to stop at some point. But I am worried that the philosophy at this level is such that it will not bring enough success. And I can cope with being mid-table if he can guarantee me we're going to win a few trophies. That would actually satisfy me.
Well,
But
Ian,
I'm deeply concerned, and as I say, if we get knocked out of 2 cups in the next 8 days, are you going to draw up a graphic? Yeah, go on.
I mean,
now I was just gonna echo in the sense of, as long as I've been supporting Spurs, we have never had a squad, right? A squad that has depth, right?
No.
So you add that with a questionable for years physio team, and then the style of play and then the lack of rotation. It's all a bad recipe for injuries to always happen with this club, fatigue to always happen. I mean, honestly, can you
I mean,
honestly say that we've ever had a time in the Levy era where we can say, "Oh, wow, we have a squad, literally a squad," something that Potts was asking, begging
Yeah.
for, and didn't get.
that
Here,
was it.
guys.
Like,
Sorry, I'm gonna go. Yeah, can't stay up much longer. I'm like your phone so sleep.
This is the fight you need to stay for, bro.
I'm sorry.
Not
I
now, bro.
was looking at it
This is the
going,
fight. Where are
Oh,
you
I'm
going?
better off staying longer.
yeah, man.
But great chat, guys, and hopefully I'll
I got
see you
the
next
lemsip,
Tuesday.
man. I got the lemsip you need, man.
Yeah, you more than that. All right, see you later, guys. Right, bye.
Bye.
What? Yeah,
mate.
Oracle, watch it back later, innit? I mean, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
I was going to say on Mari's point, like he's 100% spot on there, because I literally remember when we was under Poch, our fans going, "Oh yeah, but who do we bring in? Because like you can't improve our first 11." Like we was almost like trained by Enoch to say, "Yeah, but we can't improve our first 11. So like, what's the point of buying any players?" And it's like, well, actually, we can improve the first 11 because we didn't win anything. So surely we can improve on that. But also, what we was happy to accept, like, just, I mean, that season that we came second and then third, like, if I delve back into my memory at who our like substitute players were to come on, I can only really come up with Nasser Chadley, and then I'm struggling to remember who the other like subs were. Like Ben Davis and Trippier obviously rotated in the fullback positions, and then
Nkudu and them.
Lucas Moura came in at some point, but
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, no.
Like the last season at White Hart Lane.
Lamella.
Yeah, Lamella. Yeah, okay, yeah. But like Lamella was meant to be like the second
Lamella,
coming
you
of
know?
Bale, wasn't he? Like, and
Is that fit?
that never happened.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine Lamella in this system now? He would never play a game. Be injured all the time.
Oh, can you imagine? I was just had to start in my head about 20 minutes ago. Can you imagine Tanguy Ndombele in the edge system?
Well, no,
Oh,
that's why Ange got
Dembele
rid of him.
Hey,
Oh my goodness!
I don't know. Might cook. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, no. The reason why I put the picture up, and now, like, obviously, conveniently, Orion's gone. But yeah, wanted to let me bring it back a little piece because I wanted to talk about it just a minute. And the reason why that this ball on for me is on. Like, there's a ball on that he could play to Kulusevski. And actually, let me
Richarlison.
fall it back in the back. Yeah, you can see Richarlison there, but even bring it back a bit more. Can you see Saar there? There's a
Yeah.
ball played into Porro. Porro's facing forward, so we can see Richarlison's offside at the moment. Saar looks like an offside position, but I freeze framed it. And I know Saar was onside. He's onside at one point, so he could play that. But even still, as I've played it forward and the outer shot, Saar goes onside. And as I've played it forward, as I said, the arrows there showing Kulusevski, there's a simple bounce pass he could do. Even if he wanted to do a little pass, Kulu gets the ball and then they do their normal little triangle thing, whatever. I think Porro makes the wrong decision here, which puts the whole team in jeopardy. Because people are like, where's Saar? Where's Saar? Saar should be alongside Bentancur. Because Bentancur, you can see, I don't know if you can see the arrow there, but Bentancur's facing Porro. Yeah, he's across the pitch from Porro. But if for me, if Saar's going to push up high like that, and you've got Richie dropping in, I think Bergval, what you ever call him, he should be dropping in a deeper role there to support.
Ash, like what I was going to say, no, you're 100% right. Before that ball ever comes over to that side, actually Bergval has possession of it on the left hand side and plays a bloody awful cross-field pass that Porro has to run back to retrieve, and then you get sort of up to this position here, if I remember it rightly, which is why Bergval is all the way over there. If you go through that cycle of photos that you put up, see if Bergval's position changes, because it doesn't, and that's his inexperience coming to the fore there, because he's played a bad ball across. Instantly, he should be thinking danger and retracting back into that, especially seeing that his other midfield partner, Saar, has made a bombing run forward. He needs to fill in that space.
But then, isn't the defender, Ben Davies, one of the most experienced players on the pitch? Surely he calls him back.
Yeah,
do you understand? And then surely the people on the sidelines, Ange is seeing it. Look, Ange is there. Look, you can see. You can see. Ange has got his hands in his pockets. Not hands in pockets, but he's got his arms folded. Can you see it? Ange is there.
Yeah, don't you start, Ash.
Huh? Say that again.
Don't you start.
No, I'm not starting. I'm not doing the whole night. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
That's what I'm talking about. Look at Ben Nistelrooy. He's ready.
No, that's my point. So my point is, surely Ange can say something like, even before that pass is made, or even before he's made that decision, like, bro, get back. Don't push up. I'm saying, I've never really seen
disappointing.
That's what I'm saying.
The thing that's disappointing, though, for me in that is that Porro has shown that he has the ability to hit those long pinged passes. Right, and Richarlison's literally curving his run there for a ball to go forward. And the thing is, like, on the Spurs Diehards channel on Sunday, like, someone was like, "Oh yeah, all Draxin does is just like boot it out of play." But to be honest, in like the situation that Porro was in when he got pressed and then played a terrible pass to Bentancur, I would have rather he had just stuck it out of play rather than trying to like keep a hold of it. Like here, that pass is never on. He's got 3 players around him. In that, just hit it up the line, reset, and then go again. But look at Bergval. Bergval hasn't moved. He's still in the same place. Ben Davies is standing still as well. He hasn't moved. Like there's so much lack of movement. And the most alarming thing about that is look how much space there is in the middle of the pitch and not a single white shirt is there.
Sorry to cut you, but is this, and anyone can come in the panel, is this a tactical flaw, or is this an individual fault?
Look at the shape.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me
is tactical, but also
it's tactical, but it's also player specific, like players as well. Because again, this this situation all occurs because of a terrible crossfield pass that from Bergvall. Like, honestly, go back and watch the highlights. It's an awful ball they never needed to play. That's when that's not part of
But
Ange's
even
play.
still, like the clip I showed before that, Porro still has that
Yeah.
opportunity you pointed out to
Yeah.
either play it short to Kulusevski or go long into Richarlison. And out the shot, like I said, you saw Sarr making the run. Sarr was
Yeah.
making the run. So even that ball, it has to go vertical. You can't come short. But the
And the
reason
thing
why...
is,
Go on, sorry.
no, I was going to say, and the thing is, we know that that's part of the tactics because that was how we scored our first goal against Hoffenheim.
Because the reason why...
literally how we scored the first goal.
Yeah, because I was going to add to it. When Spurs are building up, like if you check the actual statistics, and I should have brought them with me. Shame on me, yeah. When we build up with short passes. In fact, we're one of the teams in terms of like our actual play. We use a lot of short passes to get through teams. That's what we do. We're one of the teams that don't go direct as much. Even though in this game we did go a little bit more direct than usual. That's one thing I did notice. But this is a pattern of play. Do you know what I mean? This is something that even in the first half, when Bentancur kept getting caught in midfield, this is what was happening on the right-hand side. I don't know if you guys remember it. On the right-hand side, that first like 10, 15 minutes, we kept losing possession because all the midfielders were really close to each other. And look, I've even got it here. Like if I bring it all the way back, you can see the positioning. Number 15 is Bergvall. Number 9 is Richarlison. 29 is Sarr. Number 30 is Bentancur. It's a 4 midfielders. Look how close they are to each other. So when they build up, if you want to bypass this, all you got to do is either switch to play or go direct. And if these 3 or 4 players make a short pass and it goes wrong, then they will lose possession. So this is, for me, I've seen this before, is what I'm saying. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coinky dink. You know what I mean? But coming back to this part, let me bring it back. Where was it? Here. So the next phase, look, I squared that off as well because I just said, look, the area is clear. You can see how much space has been left available. Anyway, we've got past that. That ball there, look, he's left by himself. That's a result of it because they've won the ball, and then Leicester players free all by himself, and then now you've got two centre backs there with Vardy in between both of them. But Vardy, for me, is closer to Dragushin. I don't know if you can see that. Vardy's closer to Dragushin, and Porro can't see what's behind him. And obviously, Bentancur is being caught square here. Do you know what I mean? As that ball's passed, then Kahunos, is that his name? Is that how you pronounce his name? El Kahunos? He starts to drive at them. But I'm saying Vardy's closer to Dragushin, so he's pinning them. Between the two centre-backs, I think Ben Davies has to step up. We're doing this thing when we saw Eric Dyer do it, back off. Remember when Rashford ran at him at White Hart Lane, yeah? And Eric Dyer just kept backing off. That's what both of these defenders did, in my opinion. Kept backing off. And then he used him, and I've circled him. Look, he's got him pinned because he's thinking, I need to worry about Vardy here. I don't think I can step up here. I'm saying, look, Ben Davies, he's been one of our better defenders. I think he's at fault here. Do you know what I mean? And as a result of it, yeah, he's used them and he's bent it around him and it's gone to the back of the net. We know what happens next. They go off celebrating and they won the game. Do you know what I mean? But I just think it's a poor setup that led to that particular incident. Do you know what I mean? And even before that, if I quickly go back, let me play it from here. You can see Porro is made a jump, and you always see us do this. We do the jump and we don't quite get there. And if we don't quite get there and win that challenge, that's when the spacing behind happens. And you can see Bentancur, who's opposite Porro, making that run, making that sprint. He's thinking, oh my Lord, I'm going to have to cover that space. But if he makes that sprint back, that leaves that number 6 position free. And so even if you buy a number 6, are they still going to have to run across and cover players like Porro? Because that's the system. We need to press. You see what I'm trying to say?
Excellent point.
That's the position I'm at. So look, that's what happens next. Obviously, he wins the ball there. it gets passed into that area. As it's getting passed into that area, I've circled off Bentancur because Bentancur's coming to run across. You can see their fullbacks pushed over. As it goes into that player, he clatters into him. Boom! You know what I'm saying? Falls over. Oh! He's on the floor, broski. He's on the floor. It's a mad thing. Look, he's on the floor. They're running with it. They're running through that half space. They're running into that pocket. It's a problem. So now you're seeing Porro on his bike running back. Now you're seeing Sarr running back. You're seeing Bergvall all running back. We always see this. We always see our players running back. You always see the number of their shirts on the back of their shirt, running back into that space. For me, I circled. I've got Sarr. I think he's standing too square. So he needs to be standing side on to kind of try and block off the passing lane. But when you stand square, you can't really see what's behind you. Do you know what I mean? So that, for me, is a bad defensive shape. That's where that pass comes in. As that pass goes in, Dragushin's trying to come across. Back ball's put right in. You know what happens next. And I think, and Marlon can come in here, I think the keeper, Kinski, has to get there, man. I don't know. Marlon, do you think he has to get there? In my opinion, I don't know.
So I said that he should get there for this. It's a really bad goalkeeping mistake, and people won't blame him because they will look at the situation with Porro and everything like that. But once he commits, he doesn't get there, and it then causes chaos.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience of playing in goal, I think he's silly to commit there.
Yeah,
I don't think he should. I don't think he should get it because it's not in the 6-yard box. If that ball was across the 6-yard box, then 100% I would be saying yeah. But you can see that ball's out. I don't think he should be committing to that. To be honest, and I think that's maybe a bit of youthful enthusiasm, like going for that. But I mean, Ash, I think your analysis there is spot on for all of it. Like for me, Ben Davis had to go and engage El Canous, and this is where that to me is not a tactical thing. That to me is a player thing, because if that's Romero's cleaning him out with he might not win the ball, but he's going to make sure that he ain't going to get that shot off, and even Van der Ven to a certain extent will be stepping up into that as well. We've seen that they're both quite not shy about going and challenging, and like you're saying, you was using Eric Dyer as an example, but you only have to go back to the Everton game, and Dyer did exactly the same thing to Dragusin, where Dragusin just ran back, and then round him and in, when actually Dragusin could have probably again cleaned him out nearer the halfway line if he had just gone and engaged. So, and again, I look at that and I go, if that was Romero, I don't think Dyer even makes it.
Are we now appreciating Romero now? Now that obviously,
I think Romero is a quality player. I have questions about maybe his attitude and towards Tottenham, maybe, but at the same time, have they done enough to keep him kind of motivated and on side, and to put the players around him so he thinks that he can win things? I mean, he's won a World Cup, he's won the Copa America, he wants to win things. I wouldn't be surprised if he feels like he hasn't been, given the teammates to help him challenge and win things. But in the summer, 2 years left on his contract, if he doesn't sign a new deal, then you have to sell him, because that's when
the thing is though. Sorry, Mara, real quickly, and you can jump in straight after. The thing is, I just go back to that Brighton game and how teams double up on that right-hand side. They kind of target it. So it's not even like I would just say it's a Dragushin Porro issue. It was a Romero and Porro issue, as we saw with their fullback Estepania double up with Mitoma on that right-hand side, which is their left. The two of them tag teamed, and then when Porro dropped, Romero had to jump, and then I remember not Basuma, with Bentancur, he tried to pull across, and that's when all the gaps started open up. And that's the reason why I'm like, even when we get our players back, is it still a tactical issue? Do you know what I mean? So I do hear what you say, but go on, Mari, go on. Sorry.
Sorry, I need to come in because I need to go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm still suffering from jet lag from the weekend, so I'm gonna knock off there, guys. But thanks for having me on, and thanks
for coming on, Ian.
Chat as well.
Appreciate you. I'll get you back on soon when you're not jet lagged.
You love it. Cheers, Ash.
Great performance.
I think two things I've noticed, because being a Romero apologist, and I've been hard on Romero, and like I said, he has regressed this season, and like I said, I also attributed to the system, the tactics that Edge is doing. The two things that you see with Romero that you notice you're missing with him not being there. In the sense that, remember, Ashmatic, I was saying last season, and even sometimes this season, that sometimes Romero actually plays sometimes like the de facto CDM. He moves up. Now, in the end system, it's taking risk, right? Because it's rush
Yes.
delay. But more than not, it's a good risk. Because then he intercepts the ball, he tackles it, and still to this day.
So he takes the pressure off the CDMs. That's what you're saying, because he's proactive.
Yeah. And he's acting like the de facto CDM. And then, and I say this now. And the stat shows, the eye shows, Argentina shows, Atalanta shows, and you even seen it at times because people look at one mistake and they don't look at the rest of the game. Our best passing player on the team, other than Madison, is Christian Romero. Christian Romero is good on the ball, one of the best center backs in the world on the ball, and progressive passing. That no one cannot deny. Even Stefan, I go argue. I said, yo, in a system that works for him, his progressive pass, Stell was showing the spaces where he was showing a diagram of spaces where we could take advantage against teams because Everton and Leicester. We don't have that because Dragusin can't do it. Davies can't do it. Our middle star can't do it. We can do it. Only Madison from the midfield back can convert a pass like that. So, are we missing Romero? I would say yes, because on the offensive attack, we're missing that. And even on the defense, right, where there's a big gap, right, Romero is going to take that chance, right? That it's a chance, but I would rather him take that chance than no chance because it's becoming embarrassing seeing the midfield part like the Red Sea, wide open. I want to make this joke, but I almost call it Postecoglou ball because we're watching like cucks, like he's watching our team get opened up, our defense get opened up by the teams. So it's it's
Do you not agree with what Ashley is saying? And Marlon, I'll bring you in as well. When you change your philosophy to suit the players, it's over. Sorry, Tom, you can answer this. What do you make of this?
Yeah, 100%.
So that means he can't adapt then. Does that mean he can't adapt then?
I don't know, because you can adapt whilst maintaining your philosophy, right?
Yeah,
you can still have a high pressing, high intensity game whilst also being a bit pragmatic at the same time, picking and choosing your moments when you go and press. I think the problem with our press at the moment is that it seems really half-hearted. Like you'll see, like when Dominic Solanke was there, he was great at pressing. He'd press, and it would only be after the ball gets played past Solanke that Son would then decide to press, rather than as soon as Solanke presses, Son should be right. I'm going as well. And like Mari, you're spot on with Romero. I've been critical of Romero and some of the mistakes he's made, but the thing that I've come to realise is that the mistakes that he makes, the mistakes that he makes are because he's trying to be proactive in stopping things. And actually, 9 times out of 10, probably more so than that, when he's proactive in trying to retrieve the ball, he's winning it and then setting us off with a great pass or whatever it might be on an attack. It's just the one time he does miss it, because of the way that we play, it does then result possibly in a goal or a chance for the other team.
Yeah, it's like Russian roulette. It's basically Russian roulette. And in the situation, we don't have, none of our center backs want to take that chance. And so that's where you're going to have those spaces open because no one's going to come up. We don't have a natural CDM, And if it was Basuma, like Ash says, he has to cover a whole part of real estate, and he's not there to even be a one.
I want to ask a question to Mr. Box Office. He's just come in. Has Ange lost the dressing room? In your opinion?
Well, I know he's lost Madison's. I know he's lost Madison.
But they're saying Madison had a calf injury, so they're saying he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. That's the reason
Well,
why he's out. I'm getting mad feedback though. Who's got the mad feedback? Oh, is it me?
is it me?
I think it's you, Alex, because it's not me.
Not me.
I just put myself on mute.
Marlon, is it you?
It's difficult with the dressing room thing, right? Because you can say that he's lost Madison, but then if you look at Madison's interview after the Hoffenheim game, you wouldn't think he's lost Madison and stuff like. I'm not seeing from the players. We've gone through 2 managers where they have lost the dressing room. You could even argue to an extent Poch had lost the dressing room, but actually Poch didn't want half of the players that were in that dressing room anyway. But it doesn't seem the same. Like, yes, the performances have been bad, but the players are putting in the effort, especially the young players and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's even more worrying. That's even more worrying. You see what I'm saying? This is even more worrying. If you're working hard and we're 15th, that's worrying.
Yeah, but they're working hard 3 times a week.
That's an excuse, mate. Sorry. Because as far as I'm concerned, we all knew from the start of the season, right? This is nothing against you, Tom. This is all football. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is all football, right?
It's tough.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's just you know what I mean. But for me, we knew the season what we were going to get. We knew exactly what the season was all about. We knew the fixtures.
What was we saying at the end of the transfer window? What was 90% of us saying at the transfer window and the end of the summer transfer window?
It wasn't good enough.
Yeah, we needed 3 more players. And then we go and get a load of injuries and stuff like that. So again, I'm completely on board of, if we stick with Ange, is it just going to be every season injury? So therefore we need to build a squad that can cope with the fact that we're going to have loads of injuries, or do you change your manager for the fact that you're not going to have that squad? I'm completely on board with that, but I don't make that decision. That's down to our board to make that decision. But we all said at the end of the summer that we didn't do enough. We brought 3 youngsters in and Dominic Solanke, whilst getting rid of 7, 8, 9, 10 players that were playing regular first team football last year. So, yes, he has to take responsibility for some of that, but at the same point, he has been kind of left up like shit creek without a paddle at the same time. And again, like I've said it 3 or 4 times, we're 28 days into a January transfer window and we still haven't bought any more players. It doesn't matter who the manager is. Like, if Ange wasn't the manager now, we'd still need players. If he is the manager,
agree with you, but the problem I have at the moment is, okay, firstly, I'll keep on banging on about it. This guy's not a coach. He doesn't improve players because no one's improved, right? Everyone's aggressing because of the way we play, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not changing my mind on this because I just see the evidence. You see the form since the first 10 games, right? And the thing is, though, right, it's quite interesting. Leicester City, right, were losing at half time, right? As soon as Van Nistelrooy goes into the changing room, yeah, he's sitting there thinking, you know what? This ain't too hard, really. All you need to do is get in behind Tottenham's right where Poro is, yeah, because we know that Bentancur's just useless, right? That's why I want Højbjerg back in my midfield, which is the most embarrassing statement I've ever made in my whole life when I've been banging on about it. Ellie, you get your flowers every single time because you're defending this guy every single time, yeah, right? And how many times they got through? You know what I mean? Vardy was like thinking it's his birthday and his Christmas day, having birthday and Christmas. You know what I mean? You know?
Does anyone agree with this statement? Oh, sorry, I thought you finished. Go on, carry on.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Was he waffling?
No. But the thing is, though, he is true. I'll make it right. Ben is absolutely right. He's absolutely right because he is like Bielsa. You know what I mean? But he had better players as far as I'm concerned. He did at least have some better bloody forwards. You know what I mean?
This is my thing as well.
Didn't have better defense though.
We've how many teams wingers would you have at Spurs over ours? Like we mentioned, Brighton with Toma and Aderinga, I think his name is, and stuff like that. You know, Brentford with Visser and Buemo. Like Nottingham Forest with Hudson-Odoi and Alanga. Like I look at all those wingers at all these other teams, and I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather have them over the ones that we've got at the moment. They would actually suit us more. Like this, Marlon, you said it earlier. Like Ange wants wingers, Conte wanted wing backs and stuff like that, and yet probably actually the worst positions in our team at the moment are our wingers. And this
This
system,
is what Ange brought in, though. This is exactly what the Ange brought in. That's the problem I have at the moment, and this is why when I hear people like Dibbling coming in, I'm sitting there thinking, "You having a laugh?" I would love him to be with an Areola. I would love a Dibbling with an Areola, a Pochettino, an Eddie Howe, but with
but
Ange.
the thing is, but 100%. But all of these players that we're buying in now will be here after Ange is gone. Even if Ange sees out his contract, they'll be here after. So the club ain't buying. This is where the club needs to sort of sort out their thinking and their alignment, and they need to communicate it to the fans. Is what is their plan moving forward? Is their plan that they're going to buy players to suit a certain style of football, and they're always going to bring in a manager that fits generally in that mold, be it attacking? Like this is what Brighton do. Yeah, they already know their next two managers before they've even got round to sacking the one that they've got, or the one gets picked off by Chelsea or whoever it might be. Right? They already know who's coming in, and is there much difference between the manager they've got now and De Zerbi? Not really. Is there much difference between De Zerbi and what Potter used to do? Not really. They're like literally the same ilk with slight adaptations. So the players that they've got will fit them and suit them no matter who that manager is. If Spurs are going to start doing that, then bloody communicate it to us so that we actually know that's what you're doing, and you're going to say, yeah, look, we're only going to be buying players under 21 because in the year 2026 and year 2027 we want to have the best team possible, and the way to do that is to get all those young players in now. Then tell us that, and then that's something that people can either get behind or they'll hate. It's a difficult one to say, but if you suddenly change up your manager to a defensive manager now, when you've got an attack, like this is why I think we're having a lot of struggles. Is we still got a lot of players that were bought for managers that were really defensive, and now we're trying to not play that way.
Does anyone agree with this statement that Ben Kaufman's brought up? It says this is exactly how Bielsa's reign ended at Leeds, near the bottom of the table, with every single important player injured.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. I think I'll make it right. I make him right. Ben is absolutely right. And I'll say this as well, Tom. Don't get used to this though, Tom. I actually agree with you. Mate. You know what I mean? I don't agree. You have to treasure that because I don't agree with a lot of people. Ask these two at the bottom. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, to be honest with you.
I'm not that bad, Tom. People might say that I've got a reputation, but I'm not that bad, Tom. You know what I mean? You know, I like people with different opinions. That's why I love this show. You know what I mean? You should be. I need the lights up, by the way. I need the lights up, by the way, for this show, by the way, for these two.
Yeah.
So back to you, Ashmatic. Back to you, Ashmatic.
What do we think about that Diblin signing, Mari? You can come in. Are we as people excited about the Diblin? Do people see the project? The project. Whoops. Do people understand the signing? Is it the right player that we need to come in for? And how come we're getting linked to players in the summer? How come we're not getting linked to the players for now?
100%. And for me, the Dibbling signing, I'm only happy if there is a coach that I believe is coaching him. Because my personal opinion, someone posted this on the chat, I do not trust Ange with the young players. For the benefit of Bergvall, Gray, and Diblin coming in, and the rest of the youth, I want a manager who can come in, put their arm around these young players, and put them in a position to succeed, on the road to succeed. I 100% believe Ange is not that guy. I looked back at his track record. He is not great. What people said during the preseason of last season, oh, he's great with young players. I believe that is not, and I would, for me, for next season, I would love Areola. If I think Areola is our manager next season, I think it will be to the benefit for Gray, Bergvall, and especially this kid Dibbling and Mikey Moore. I think these players, we could get a tune out of them with a much, 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 much better play, or they have a chance to succeed. But with Ange, we already see what he's done to Gray, right? But I will say this: Gray's getting all the kicks and all the nicks and all, and to his benefit, it will be a benefit for him because you can't put in no worse situation than what Ange has put him this season. So
Fair, fair
so
enough. I was going to say, Tom, do you agree with Mari's point where he doesn't trust Ange with the young players?
I don't trust him.
Or
Uh,
do you trust him? Do you think something a bit different? Do you think Ange is good with the young
I
players?
mean, if we're being honest, they've probably played more football this year than they were ever supposed to play because it's been a needs must situation. I mean, he was drip feeding Bergvall into European
Wait.
games.
Tom, they said they were happy. In the summer, they said they were happy with the midfield's choice and they were going to speed up Bergvall's or Bergvall's development and Archie Gray's development. That's the reason why they didn't replace Skip, Højbjerg, or Lo Celso. That's why they were bringing in no more midfielders. Do you remember them saying that? Or were they?
Yeah,
Was
but
he lying? Or?
we discussed this earlier, didn't we? Like, what is he supposed to say? Like, if he comes out and goes, "No, I'm really, really mad about what the situation we've left ourselves in," then he's going down the same route as Conte, then, isn't he? And that didn't obviously end well for Conte. So,
Wait. So just to pause on that before you go any further, do you guys agree with that? Then do you? Because
I
he's
think
saying
he said too much. I think he said way too much. He's been talking too
yeah,
much.
he could have said less. He didn't have to be like, yeah, I'm happy with this team and blah, blah, blah. He could have literally gone, we've made some good signings, but we know that there's going to still need work to do, like 100%. And I think on reflection, he'd probably look back and go, I wish I'd probably worded that like differently because of the situation that we're now in terms of the results. And
so you're saying basically he's not media savvy and just kind of puts himself in trouble.
I think Ange has been taken back a little bit with how much media work he is having to do, and how intense that the media is. I think he is quite media savvy at times. I think he has a good way of talking to things, but he has these grumpy moments where he looks down at the ground and things along the lines of that. There's parts of his communication that I don't particularly like, but then there's parts of Jose's communication I didn't like, part of Conte's I didn't like, part of Poch when Poch is talking about cows in fields and trains and stuff, and we're all like, what the hell are you on about, mate? So I think it's difficult if you've been put out in front of national media 3-4 times. Well, it's 3 times per game, so you're looking at like 9 times a week that he's basically being asked to do interviews and stuff, trying to keep your sanity with the same questions being asked all the time must be like a bit of a difficulty in that situation. But I think look, most people have raved about Archie Gray and Bergvall and players like that, and that's because of the way that they've had to step up into this team and stuff. I don't think Ange is a manager that we're going to have for the long term. I think Ange has been brought in as a manager to negotiate us through a very difficult moment of we had to get rid of so many players like your Ndombele's, your players like that actually I don't think many managers would have particularly coped with such an overhaul of the squad.
Do you think
that
we need
we've
to
ended up having.
overhaul it like the way we did and not bring players in? Like, do you think we fast tracked ourselves and we put ourselves in that position where we are now?
We fast tracked ourselves because we sat on our laurels for the few years prior. Like, why did it take us 3 seasons to get rid of Ndombele? Why have we still got Reguilon at the club when the last 2 managers haven't wanted him? Like, there's so many players that we took so long to get rid of that we've left ourselves in a situation where we have fast tracked it and maybe to the detriment of the current playing squad. They're trying to get to the right place, but they're trying to get to the right place because they've made so many mistakes over the last few years. Where if they had just done this not as intense under Poch, you know, Poch was only asking for a few signings and for a few players to head out. If they had just put their hand in their pocket and done then, they probably would have saved themselves millions, and we would have been in a much better position than we are now.
We are linked. No, we're not linked. We're not linked. Sorry, let me start again. Bayern Munich and Matthias Tel have come to agreement, and Matthias Tel's asked to leave Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich have accepted. Now, there are a few clubs, Chelsea being one of them, are looking at this player. However, Matthias Tel did reject Chelsea early in the window because he felt that he wouldn't get enough game time, and that's the whole reason why he's moving away from Bayern Munich. Obviously, Chelsea have a plethora, a number of wingers in both sides. You've got Neto, who we were linked with, Chelsea got in the end, on that right wing with Madueke, and then on the left wing they've got I forget now, mine's gone blank. They've got who's on the left? Sancho, obviously. They've got Mudryk, and they've also got Yao Felix. I don't know if you could call him a winger, but also Neto can also play left wing also. But Matthias Tel's been linked with a few Premier League clubs, but they're saying it's unknown who the Premier League clubs are. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
I'd sign him tomorrow. Like he's the perfect kind of player where he suits the club's narrative of buying a young player who can exponentially grow in value and ability. But
I'll get your thoughts in a second. I'll get your thoughts in a second. I'll get everyone's thoughts, in fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Matthias Tel is another young player. I know. We did see him play live in the flesh because we did play Bayern Munich twice.
That's what I was going to say. Actually, he's a player that is young and is going to be better in the future, but he's also better than what we have now. Like he improves us now as well as improving us in the future.
So Matthias Tel is 19 years old, and I know people are thinking again, we're going for another young player, Diblin again, 19, 183 centimeters. So he's basically 6 foot, 6'2"?
Yeah.
Left winger, French under 21. They value him on transfer market at 30 million. Take of that or what you will. He can be done on a loan deal. So we can get him on a loan, which, the club always looking for opportunities. That's why they leave it so late in the January window to get any business done. With this, also, he plays, let me go back a bit. Oops. He plays on the left wing. His predominant position is on the left wing, but he can play centre forward and he can play on the right wing, as it's shown on there. And he's played that for the academy and he's played it for France as well, under 21s in that position. His heat map will show predominantly he plays on the left. Here is his formation. He's played in the 4-2-3-1 at Bayern Munich as well, so he would know the system if needed to come in for any manager that is there, whether it's Ange or not. As you can see, his heat map hasn't played too many games. I think he's played 8 games, but he's only started 2 because they've got quite a few wingers in that position. Sane being one of them, Elise being one of them. So it's quite hard. I know they're on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, they've got Gnabry, I know, and they've got a few other wingers like Coleman, etc. The list goes on. They've got loads of wingers, basically. But, yeah, heat map shows he can play right, left, and it's dotted in the area as well. If you look at some of his stats, the ones that jump out to me personally are his assists per 90 is in the 90th percentile, which is quite high, very high in fact. Pass completion, 94 percentile for an attacking midfielder / winger. Successful take-ons, a decent 87 percentile, so not shy of 90 percentile all the wingers. And the fact that he's 19 to be up there with like senior pros is quite good. First touch is decent, as you can see, and an aerial one. This is the one that stands out for me. Could be a weapon in the box. From what I've seen of him, I did a real quick video on this. Is a real quick video. From what I've seen, he reminds me of when he wins those balls in the air. He needs to work on his finesse and his accuracy, but he can remind me of Cristiano Ronaldo used to run off the end of the back post and get those headers. He's that type of header of the ball. He hasn't quite refined it like Cristiano, but in terms of a weapon, he could be used as an aerial threat like that. If he's making a late run in the back post like a Johnson and someone's whipped across him, he could find the back post and for aerial threats there. But his headering does need work. But the fact that he does header shows that he's got a bit of minerals about him. Because if anyone has played football, to go up for a challenge and win the ball with your head, you need something about yourself. You need to have that heart to win those challenges. That's what I thought I'd mention, that aerial stat there. In the shots per 90, not bad. I've put against Madueke, Semenyo, Gordon. Obviously, he's a gunman. Adingra, Hudson-Odoi, shots per 90, lets it off, so he's doing all right. And again, shots on target as well, decent. He's amongst good company here as well. We were linked to Hudson-Odoi as well, so that's why I thought I'd put it in. But yeah, here's some of his goals, some of his goal threats. And for me, the way I profile him, he's not a centre forward. He's not a number 9 where he can hold players off. He's more of a striker. You know, like we talk about Son. Son is a striker where he runs off. He's a wide forward. He comes into that kind of channel, and he almost like he runs off the centre forward. He runs off the centre forward, and then that's where he gets his goals. But here's his dynamic running. Here you can see him finish off the goal. Oh, his weaker foot here, his left foot, good finish. So players can't really pick up what type of finish he's going to do. It makes him a bit more unpredictable. Here he is, the backhand hitting to the back post, getting to the back stick in the right area. A lot of his finishes I've seen goes for power, a lot of power as opposed to finesse. But again, outside the box type of finishes here, rifles it in, good control finish there on his right foot there. But again, he's able to go on his weaker foot, power. It goes for power again, top bins. And I'm looking at what we have in terms of finishing for his age and his profile. I like his ability to shoot from distance and then inside the box as well. Here he is something by himself.
Yeah.
So,
he's only 19. He has much to improve. So
he's got I 100%. Especially if he weren't to be a focal point number 9, he's got a lot to improve. But if he's playing as a striker off a centre forward, like off a Solanke, he could be used in the system quite well. I think, in my opinion, depending on what manager we use, or even under this current manager, if we use him coming off the wing and attacking that box, he could be quite deadly. Successful take-ons. Again, he hasn't played a lot of games, so there's not a lot of data I could reel off. So it's just 50% there. In the English league, could he get found out in terms of his dribbling? I'm not sure. When I did look at the stats, when I looked at some of the numbers, he's good 1v1, but 2v1, like a Saka, or a 2v1 versus like a Madueke, he's not as strong. So I think he needs to work on his physicality, in my opinion. But his dribbling's not to be laughed at. He's a good dribbler. He's a person that can hold it up, decent, good switch of play there, good range of passing, good feet, good quick feet. He's able to get to the byline. First touch, brilliant. Gets it out of his feet, attacks the channels. Again, not bad in possession. Able to find players. Better than Johnson. Here he is on the wide again. Quick feet, left foot, right foot, a bit unpredictable. Able to go, use his pace, blast down that side, down the wing. Here he is again, defending here, getting a good block. So he's got defensive attributes as well. There is a good cross on the right hand side, finding a teammate. Again, holding off the ball, being tricky, being clever, just protecting the ball. There he is on the outside, getting that ball, winning it back. But yeah, there he is, just again winning that ball. So he's got good defensive attributes. That's one thing I like about it. He's not just going to be resting on his laurels. Wins the ball back in the midfield and then's on the attack. Then goes into the channel, finds that player, gets his head up. Nice little pass there as well. It's not just about him with dribbling with the ball with his feet. He's also able to find a pass and pick out a teammate, which is also useful. There he is again for France and the 21s, winning the ball back in the channels again, getting onto the right foot, taking his man on. And that's what you want to see. Shifting one way, then the other way. And he's got a decent cross on him. Good finesse, good weight of pass, good weight of cross. Can hang it up in the air as well if need be. And I think that's impressive for his age as well. There he is, getting a little spin on a half turn inside the box. Gets a little link-up play here. Little 1-2 on the outside. Here he is again, finding his teammate under pressure. Keeps it nice and calm on a half turn. Gets into that channel right through the middle. Here he is, stepping over the ball and then cutting inside again. Look, cuts inside. It's got a bit of trickery about him. He's able to stand the player up and keep possession.
And I remember him during the Olympics for the French team, the young team. Yeah, he's 19 years old, and to do this, people gotta understand is we're not talking about someone who's 24 who is fully refined. If he's doing this at the age of 19, I mean, I like what I see. I don't watch a lot of Bayern games, and usually I see Gnabry, of course, Kane, and Kingsley Coman. But I like what I see, and right coaching and right continued growth, man. It's could be good on our team.
Do you think he can help us for now, or do you think it's a player that we're going to have to wait to let develop? Because, and I ask anyone, Tom, Box Office, Mari, Canal, Marlon, whoever, like,
you see what we have now? Yeah.
I think yeah, he's different to what we've got now, and the thing, like, from those clips and the times I've seen him play when I've decided to watch Bayern Munich to see Kane every now and again, just to think about the old times. I genuinely, what I like about him is that his first thought is go forward, attack, get the ball, run at a player, and that's like it might not always be successful, but actually, if trying to take on a man and getting tackled is committing players to you. And once you start committing players to you, that starts freeing up space for others, right?
That what Odebear's... I know he's been injured, but is that kind of what Odebear's kind of been brought in to do, and we just haven't seen it yet?
I think 100%. I do wonder how different... I'm not saying that he would have made...
Odebear, like, I'm more... Like, aesthetically, he's very pleasing. Very pleasing. I'm just not sure about the end product in terms of, like, crossing the ball, decision making, it's actual shooting as well. Like, in terms of goal threat, I'm yet to see that in a Spurs shirt. I know we showed glimpses of that in Burnley, and he looked promising. But in a Spurs shirt so far, before the injury pulled up, I still have a few question marks. My hope as a fan is that he's going to be excellent.
I think it's hard to judge him, though, isn't it? Because he only played 3 games for us before he got injured. So, like, it is hard. And actually, the first game he played for us was actually exciting because he tried to take on his man and stuff like that.
That's why we got gas. That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if that clouded my vision, because when I first saw that, and I saw...
Do you know what? I'm going to use an example of a player that was very similar to that when he first came. He didn't really have an end product, and that was Aaron Lennon. Aaron Lennon's end product wasn't the greatest, but he got you out of your seat. Yes, he had better players around him like Modric and Bale towards the end, and that probably helped him out a little bit. But with Odebear right now, he's 3 games in. He's never played Ange ball before. Yes, what we saw at Burnley, there's ups and downs. However, if it's not Ange, say it's not Ange for now, and we get our wish and we get a coach, Odebear could eventually develop into that player that on the wing that we kind of need going forward. But at the present moment,
100%, Marlon. You're always going to need players. You're always going to need wingers that will take on their man. And without Odebear in the side, and I'm not saying that if we had Odebear, everything would be different now. But Johnson and Son, they're finishers. They're not players who are going to take on a man and create something. Johnson's creating.
Just on that, Tom. What do you value more? Creativity, as in take a man on, whip a crossing, or goal threat, being a wide man in the front 3? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. Are we a front 3 where we have a striker, we've got 2 wingers, or are we a front 3 where we're 3 forwards? Like, which one is it? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's hard to answer that question, right? Because goals win games, right? So if you put the ball in the back of the net, you're gonna score goals. You're gonna win games more often than you're not if you're putting the ball in the back of the net. So you need someone who can do that. But how Johnson only gets into that position if there's someone creating that position for him to be in. And actually, I can't believe I'm even saying this, because no way I want him at our club any longer than he is. But if you actually look, the person who's probably assisted Johnson for most of his goals is Timo Werner, because he, on the odd occasion, does take on his man and puts that ball across the box. And I'm not saying for 1 second that I want Timo Werner to stay in this team.
No, stand on your ground. Stand on it. Go on.
But I don't.
What you're saying makes sense. No, I've said this. I've said exactly what you said. Even though I don't want him, when you look at Brennan Johnson and the goals he scores, it's from Timo Werner going down the wing, cutting it across, and him just standing there. But just on Ash's question quickly, it's and I want to ask all the panel. It's a case of, who would you prefer as a winger, Lucas Moura or Brennan Johnson?
I'll take Lucas Moura all day long.
But
Lucas Moura all day long.
Take the Champions League
to this guy.
But take the Champions League semi-final out of it,
Actually,
up and down, barely scored goals, barely any assists, but could take on players. Where Johnson is scoring and assisting, but he's so crap on the ball. It's completely two different wingers.
I will go with Moore because here's the thing: when Moore is not scoring, at least he's tracking back. He's helping the
Doing
defense.
something.
Yeah. Whereas Brendan Johnson, he will score that goal and give you nothing the rest of the game.
And all he does is goal hang. Like I said, he's like the below average Raheem Sterling. I'm sorry, I can't stand him.
But
I'm
a
sorry.
goal can change the momentum.
Yeah.
So if we score a goal, all of a
This is
sudden,
the question, yeah.
we're up.
Because most of the time, Moore didn't score, and he weren't assisting.
Yeah, I get you. I hear your point, and he did play with Harry Kane and Son. Yeah, I do, but I'm sorry. What is Johnson's glass ceiling? What is Johnson's glass ceiling? Because at the moment, I don't see it.
No, but the question's not that. Go on, Tom. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, again, it's a difficult one because actually, you saying Lucas Moura, I'm kind of like, actually, I'd quite like to see Lucas Moura play in an Ange system where it is like focus more, because Moura started coming in. Poch started playing him more central, didn't he? But he was always a winger when he first came in, when he was at PSG and stuff. So like actually seeing him stay more wide right and being able to take on his man, and again, your creative winger is not necessarily a person who always gets the assist, but is the person who commits the players to almost sometimes get the assist before the assist, or drags players across and stuff like that. I don't mind Johnson in any way, shape, or form. I'd actually quite like to see Johnson play as the central striker, to be honest with you, because I think he's got that finishing ability.
Physicality to be a front man, to hold a play up, because you need a focal point at time centre forward.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's a running behind merchant. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's why Solanke's supposed to be there. That's what Solanke's supposed to do. Hold the ball up, and then he.
I think if we changed it, where Johnson played closer, like I was talking about in that video, I was talking about Tell. If he plays closer or he's running off the wing, and Solanke gets the ball and then he runs in behind like Son used to do, then your Johnson's work, then your Tell's work. Do you know what I mean? But to have Johnson as a focal point would be like having Tell as a focal point. I don't think they're strong enough in their link-up play. I don't think they've got that ability to bring other players in, to hold it up, to stretch the defence in that sense where they pin a centre-back and they're worried about... I'm not really worried about Johnson pinning me back because he's air.
Sometimes you can play on the shoulder, though. You can play on the shoulder.
You can play on the shoulder, but then you need a player in the midfield that is going to kind of dominate that space.
Well, that's where Maddison. That's where we're having the trouble with the midfield, because I don't like any of our midfielders.
But the thing with Maddison is he lacks physicality. I think when he gets a challenge, he goes down, and I think moving forward in the Premiership, if I'm looking at Bournemouth, I'm comparing Maddison to Kluivert. When Kluivert's on the ball, he's able to get the ball, ride the challenges, and do that what Maddison's meant to do: score goals outside the box, inside the box, be prolific, be like almost a false nine, because that's what a 10 is, an attacking mid. You're really close to the striker. And I see Kluivert can play in that 10 role, but then also he could play in the channels. He could play a bit wider as a left wide player. And so I think what the club are trying to do, I'm guessing, well, my logic would tell me, if they're looking for a player, they're looking for more like a Kulusevski type, whether we like him or not. Someone that's a bit more agile than a Kulusevski, or has a bit more agility, where they can play the 10, but they can also play wide like a Kluivert. Kluivert's a better example, because Bournemouth play that quick transitional, high-pressing, octane football, chaos merchants. That's the type of football they want. And I think with Maddison, there's a world where Maddison does work. Don't get it, because I'm a Maddison. I like Maddison. I like the way he passes from deep or from in the sides, and he can interchange. Sometimes he's a wide midfielder, and he does and he's quite slippery. He does have that dynamic flow about him, but it's just the physicality of the Premier League. He just always getting his calf injuries, always getting, even though he's been rotated. Maddison, out of all the players, he hasn't been overplayed, and he's still picked up an injury. So, I don't know. I just have questions, man.
I've just got to say, I've got a dash because I've got work in the morning and stuff. So, but I honestly thank you so much for having me on.
No, thank you, Tom.
It's been a pleasure, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
No, thank you so much. Cheers for coming on, Tom, and everyone. He's got his X handle there. Go find him on X.
You probably won't like half of what I post on there, but it's fine.
About Mr.
Lego.
Cheers,
Michael Dawson.
Yeah, come on. That's the last bit, and then Yeah, and then we'll go because I got whack.
Yeah.
Head is
You
booming.
know, this is where I'm so happy, and hopefully it comes to fruition. You guys probably heard that maybe all of the channels are getting together to kind of unify and bring in a message of, you know, in regards to Levy out. Though we know he's not going to sell the club, but put that pressure of reform in our squad, and it's like the Tupac Biggie beef, East Coast West Coast, coming together, world peace, we're all coming to one, and so
Died. Biggie died. I'm joking. Go on.
you got to see it to believe it, and then we get this from Michael Dawson, and you know he served his role on our team, and he was there since our last trophy, and for me, as you mentioned earlier, Ash,
Mhm.
ironically, he said his comments in regards to the fans putting pressure on Levy is now getting to the players, and I'm like, wait, excuse me, what's the problem? We have fans who go to away games, they see crap, right? The way get you guys demonetized. They see crap. They come at home, they see crap, right? The players have quit, right? They're seeing us exposed week in and week out to lesser teams. How the fans are supposed to react? Mind you, we've only have one trophy in the 23, 24 years this ownership has had. We haven't seen any. We see the rumors. We talk about the rumors in regards to transfers, but no one's coming in. So where's Lange, right? Where's Scott Munn? Where are these guys? And you expect the fans not to boo? You expect the fans not to have a reaction? You expect the fans not to put pressure on the board? They should. If you think that's pressure in comparison to what United fans did in getting a game against Liverpool canceled, or what Arsenal fans did a couple years ago, or even Chelsea, like, come on now. You're complaining about them singing from beginning to the end of the game. We want Levy out, and it's putting pressure. First of all, they're professionals. They should know there are going to be times when the fans cheer and boo. And this product, right, the second highest paying crowd in all of Europe, right, have every right to boo every Spurs player's ass, along with the manager and along with the owner. Because what they're serving is crap. Crap. And if you don't like crap, you have every right to speak it out, voice it out. Absolutely.
Don't
And
you think?
Sky
Go on,
Sports, as a paid Spurs ambassador, and I love Ledley King, and I've met him in person. Please don't go on the airways. Please.
Yeah,
I
but
tell you,
Mari, he has already. A couple years ago, he did an interview with, I think it was Cammy and Ben Shepherd, and he spoke about, he defended Daniel Levy, and everyone went after him. Look, I'm gonna say it like this:
yeah,
the Michael Dawson interview. Don't get mad at it. It was the best thing that could have happened right now, and I'm going to explain why it's the best thing.
that's the way you go. Yep.
The club are feeling the heat. The club are feeling the heat at the moment, and there's the PR this week has been constantly, and it's been the mainstream media, even Sky Sports, Talk Sport, everyone, all the mainstream media, BBC, have all been talking about Levy out, Levy out, Levy out. There's not been one person from the other side to come and defend them. They've had ex-managers in how many years come out and say certain things about them. What Michael Dawson did today, all I'm going to say, was the best thing that could have happened for us fans, because it means the club are under pressure. They are feeling the heat.
Sure.
Michael Dawson coming out today and coming out that he is employed by the club. This is what people have to remember. He's employed by the club. The club have gone, oh, let's try and send a player out there that they will love. All right, but we know Michael Dawson's talking out his ass, right? We know when the legends do it, they're only doing it. It's only the legends that ever say positive stuff that's still working there. If you ever can get them on their own, you'll see a different answer. A lot of them are completely, but they have to say, they have to toe the line. And I don't expect any of them to act any differently. You are being paid. None of you lot on this panel and no one in the comments, right, would go and sit there, no matter how bad their company was, even if they were working for a cigarette company, would sit there and badmouth their company.
Bro,
You're not going to badmouth. You're not going to badmouth the person who's paying you ever.
Unless you're
listen. Hey, listen. Remember, Levy was meant to bring out, or not Levy, Simon Jordan was meant to bring out the interview with him and Levy. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's not come out yet because the heat is on Levy, and I've got a feeling that that's just going to make it look worse.
I don't think. Well, is that recorded? Is that recorded?
It was recorded around Christmas time.
So now he's worried about what was said in that interview, wasn't it?
Because what's happened since then? Because we obviously it was supposed to happen around when we beat Southampton, so it was the heat was there, but it wasn't completely. But what's happened since? We ain't won a game since.
Yeah,
and
we haven't bought anybody yet. And we haven't bought anybody yet. But there's a point to why we're not bought anybody. It's not because of just the owners, because what is going on at the moment, what is going on with the injuries at the moment, what is going on with the where we are at the moment in the table.
So everyone, so all Spurs fans, I get. Look, don't have a go at Michael Dawson. No point. There's no point getting mad at him. He's been sent by the club to go and talk because they've got no one else at the moment. It'll be Jermaine Defoe next, and it'll be Ledley King. They'll roll them out. They'll try and roll them out one by one.
And my boys.
So they've tried the Michael Dawson card first. Let's see who's next on that list. And the more and more
I agree with you. I agree.
So it's kind of.
I hate the message.
It was the message, yeah. And even the interview on Sky Sports, they've got to. They would have all been briefed and gone. Michael Dawson has to come out and speak positively about the club. Let's try and blame the fans. But hold on, when we're supporting the boys, they're still losing. What pressure? Actually, if the heat's on Daniel Levy, the heat's less off them. They can relax.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Does anyone agree with Ashley? Ashley, also message us, please. Please message us. I'd love you to come on, like respectfully. If you could come on, please. Not like a conversation.
Since the beginning of the show, I don't know.
Ashley's been a support of the show. He's good. He was supporting me on Monday. Yeah.
Ashley, I need my namesake. I need you, bro. I need you, please.
He's calling you out, Ash. He wants you on Ash and Ash.
Who's Ashley?
I'm not even doing that. I'm not calling the man out.
No, he's not calling you out. He's liking what you're saying.
Well, I am calling him out.
Ashley, whenever
he wants you on.
No, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. I want to hear you
because I can't see it.
I want to see because he's got a lot, bro. You know what? He's been fighting all show, and I respect it. That's all I'm gonna say. I respect it, and I just want to see him. Yeah. If you can, I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to. But we'd love to get you on. We'd love to get you on
and have that conversation. And I'm not gonna call man out. You know, you're not a man if you don't come on. I'm not doing all of that.
No. He's just put something in the chat. He's just put
on it. Yeah. It's on this thing, yeah. I say less.
You'd rather stay in the comments.
Actually, come on, bruv, man. Come on, mate. We're not gonna buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These two people will look after you, bruv. Don't worry about that.
We look after our guests.
No, it's not for everyone, you know.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. Not everyone's good, like in front of the camera. Do you know what I'm saying? So if he wants to stay in the comments, he can stay there, man. I'm not gonna block him or nothing like that. Like everyone's.
No, we're not gonna block him. We're not blocking anybody.
No. I'm just saying.
To be fair, we don't block anyone on this channel.
We love everybody.
And I want in this channel.
That is true. You guys have never blocked anybody.
I said, listen, anyone can come on. Look, it is what it is, but.
Ashley,
what we're saying, Ashley, we like your views. We like what you have to say, man. We enjoy what you have to say in the comments.
I like that he sticks by.
Ashley likes you, yeah. You stick by, yeah. We love it.
That's what I like. I like the energy.
Yeah, thanks. It's actually a massive thank you, and actually a massive thank you from us to go. We like what you have to say.
The show, man. Yeah, you've helped the show.
Thank you so much.
Like, if you don't want to come on the show, I'll bring your comments up anyway, regardless. And anyone else. Anyone else that wants to come on, they feel brave enough. Like this is not just for Ashley exclusive. If you feel like
Very
you said something and you're like, these men are waffling, I don't agree with anything they're saying. Like, what are these men? What? What do you mean we need a 6? Don't need a. You know what I mean? We press high. We retain the possession. They can score 10. We'll score 20. Like, make. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, we're here for it. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man.
And,
Yeah,
and Elijah, you can sod off.
Oh yeah, we all love Elijah.
Elijah's clipping us now as we talk, man.
You should be grateful to Elijah. Elijah promotes your show, Bob, man. Look at the last video, Bob.
Hey, whoa, settle down.
Elijah,
But hold on. Let's just finish on the Michael Dawson bit. But yeah, look.
Switch it.
Let's just finish on the no. In all seriousness, I just think everyone needs to just look at the situation. Don't take it seriously. Take it as the club trying to fight back. And at the present moment, when you start blaming the fans, you have an issue.
yeah,
You have an issue. I'm sorry, but that's where it is. And once they started saying, we need to be behind them, but we're still losing games when we're behind them. We're losing games when we're not with them. It doesn't matter what we do.
Is he saying that we're like negative? The negativity is affecting the players. Is he trying to draw that out?
Okay, I was thinking, I'm going to throw this out there to you, yeah? So Expressions was on with Chris about an hour ago, and he said the players, so this is going to be social media, they watch him on social media. They watch him. The players watch him. Emerson Royal and all that used to watch him, and he used to cook them.
Chris Cowlin was
With X. With Expressions, yeah. There's a
what on the fan thing?
Tonight.
Well, maybe you're coming together. Quick plug for Cowley. Look at
On the fan thing.
No. But the reason why I've come into it is because speaking about negativity, if they're watching the YouTube channels, which they are, and it began in their WhatsApp groups, they don't give a shit. From the sounds of it, they don't give a crap. They're laughing and joking about it. Yeah.
What about Leeds, do you mean?
So everything, they're watching everything.
You want the quote? It says, Dawson says, and I watched it, the players feel the pressure with the fans turning on the owner in the stadium. I've been there.
Okay.
That's the main thing. So he's saying that the players feel the pressure, which for me, I'm like, you haven't been feeling the pressure the last couple of weeks? Like, I mean, I'm like,
yeah, come on. Which pressure do you want? Do you want pressure on yourself, or do you want pressure on going to someone and go, I could blame them up there because actually I can do what I like now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
but Dawson was bottom of the league. The manager was out. The manager just got left with Pavlyuchenko and Darren Bent. He come out and said the two strike. I think he wanted Samuel Eto'o and someone else, right, to come in. Tottenham told him no, Ramos, because he just lost Berbatov and Keane. He got told he got to have Pavlyuchenko, Fraser Campbell, and Darren Bent. And then they wonder why we didn't score any goals. You know,
yeah.
This is where we are with this board, and this is what I could read you out, and I want to do another show on it, and I'm going to see when Ash is free, but I want to go through. There was a thread on X where they've put every single comment by every single manager, and it's damning. It is damning because yes, it'd be like all of them going to Levy, going into his room and going, you know what, raise the ticket prices in that area because of whatnot, this, that, and the other. The food prices, do this. Levy's going to look at them and go, what are you talking about?
Bro, all I need to say is, right, I'm actually seeing Expressions on bloody Chris Callan's show right now. I can't believe what I'm seeing at the moment, bro.
Bro, you're on here now. Allow it. Watch it afterwards.
Bro,
Right?
you know when things are moving. You know when things are moving.
Don't do them things, man. You don't do them things.
But bro, you know when things are moving.
Patrick Lamar and Drake, they're coming together.
No, but you know when things are moving. He's going on his fan show, bruv. He's going on his fan show. Box office don't even let us get on there, though. You know, it's our box office don't let me and you get on there. I've told you about you guys. I've told you about those. But don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you know I promote you. You know I'll tell people about you, bro. You know the people I've talked about you, bro.
We've got him.
You got rattled.
We got rattled.
Mad.
Oh,
Before you end it,
You got
just
go.
the thought. We don't have to discuss it, yeah. But would you lot have given any of the youth opportunities like Dorrington, Devine, Hall, Donnelly, and them man there?
100%.
Yeah, not.
Yeah.
Or do you think they're not
I'm-
ready?
I'm-
Or do you think they're not
no.
ready?
This is the issue. I know everyone's going. They're not. The only person from that list who I'd have given the minutes to, and I would have
Tyrese
thrown him in, would have been Dorrington.
Dorrington. Yep. Dorrington.
So not
Because
Ashley,
with-
not Ashley Phillips we bought.
Or Ashley
Not
Phillips went out on
Tyrese
loan. I've let him go. I'm thinking what I'm thinking is who have I got left in the squad after that September window who I can use. Dorrington should have been thrown in at the deep end to see if he can handle it. And I think that's a big thing. Sometimes, well, like he's done with Archie Gray recently and Bergvall, you've just got to throw him in.
Dorrington, left centre back.
Yeah, left centre back, I believe. Yeah,
Imagine psyche of
it's
Dorrington
Dorrington, isn't it? I can't
Yeah.
remember.
seeing Gray play your position.
Mm.
The psyche, like it's like it should be discouraging. I'm like, damn, I can't start. I can't get
Even
game.
in he could
Is
have
it
done in
politics,
Europe.
though? Is it politics though, where he's got a given certain amount of minutes because that's how they bought him? Remember, he was linked to Man City. Pep wanted him, and he said, "Nah, we're going to guarantee you minutes."
That's what Ian said. That's what Ian said. Ian said that the reason why he said yes because I guess there was some deal that okay he has to have certain time. That's why Gray gets some time. That's what Ian. I don't know if you guys know Ian.
Yeah, but Gray doesn't have to play centre back. Gray can play in centre midfield where we are currently struggling.
But Marlon, I think he was brought in to be a right back, bruv.
I do agree, but don't sit there. But don't sit there and come out and say he's a DM. We want him to be a
Yeah,
DM.
that's stupid. That's stupid.
It's
That's
all
stupid.
stupidness.
That's stupid.
So what they should have done if they want to guarantee Gray. Look, I know Gray went and played. He partly played centre midfield when he tried it against Everton because he was partly trying to be in that role and he failed. However, how else are you going to learn? He did fail. We can all totally admit he failed.
Man, there's a big movement for Archie Gray. You know?
No, but Archie Gray, Archie Gray, for me, Archie Gray on the ball is fantastic. He's good on the ball. He can play the ball. He can spray it. He's brilliant. My biggest problem with Archie Gray is he's defensive minded. Like he's not very defensive minded, and there's been a lot of goals that have been down to him just being in the wrong position. Not his fault because apparently he's playing out of position and he's learning. But he's like, was it the Newcastle game where he's so far back it goes across him.
Down to being in the centre back role versus being in the midfield role, would he not be different higher up the pitch with two defenders behind him? Supposing that
you'd hope so. It's the whole Ledley King situation, isn't it? Because Ledley King played DM for a year before he was moved into centre back, and that.
Well, I think it's also experience. It's proper experience next to him, bro. And it goes back to the whole thing about experience. Proper players that are actually going to teach him, tell him, bro, calm yourself. Come back. You know what I mean? Guide him. All
right. So if you want experience next to him, would you have like an experienced 6 next to him and then allow him to play an 8?
You could have played him next to Basuma or Bentancur. He could have done it. He didn't have to play you.
Well, I wouldn't trust any of them. I would have put.
The reason why I'm saying trust Bentancur and Basuma because they're not playing the 6 role. It's actually Gray that's got to play it, and then them two can play the 8. And Basuma, as everyone has always pointed out, played the 8 at Brighton. It was Caicedo that played 6, I believe.
There was another guy before Caicedo.
And another guy before Caicedo. You start looking at things and going, that's why Bentancur and everyone's moaning at them, but that's not their role. They're not designed to play in that. They don't see the defensive side of things because they've never had to play that way until they came here. Dan E always said that Bentancur played 6 at Juventus. Well, you can clearly see why they got rid of him if that's what we're seeing him as a number 6 because again he leaves gaps. He's just not. He's always been better than 8 for us.
He's right. You are right because Danny's mainly spot on with everything he says on that point.
But we've clearly seen he can't play a number 6 in the Premier League. He's clearly an 8.
Can Bentancur play a number 6 in the Premier League?
No, that's what I'm talking about. Bentancur. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think Bentancur
Stanley
can.
did say he was a 6
Yeah,
in
he was a 6, but we've clearly seen that he's not. The games have shown that he's clearly not a 6, and he doesn't think like a 6. Because the gaps are just as prevalent with him as they are with Basuma. So for me, you're looking at it going, if you go and put Gray there, and then you go and put a Basuma or a Bentancur next to him, who knows?
Are we saying then that Gray's got more of a football brain than Bentancur and Basuma? Is that what we're actually saying as a number 6?
If he's more defensive minded at the moment out of the 3.
So he knows where to be positionally out of those 2 experienced players.
You kind of hoping that, but he probably still needs to be, as box office said, you still probably need that experience next to him. But yeah,
okay,
possibly. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out. I don't know. Like,
I'm not saying, I'm not trying to throw you off. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it
in my mind as well.
Yeah, I've not seen it. Like, I can't sit there and discuss Gray as a number 6 because he's not exactly played there. I don't know. I'm looking at what he's doing in central defence, and there's been some games he's been okay.
If we play Brentford and we played him in a 6, like is he stopping? Is he stopping Brentford? Basically, is he helping us stop Mbeumo and Wisa? Do you know what I mean? Break through those lines.
See, the problem is he possibly could, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Does he have the physicality? Is it the physicality? Is it because I know he's got the mobility to get around the pitch more than maybe a Bentancur. Not to say Bentancur hasn't got mobility, but I think it comes down to decision making in split seconds, because that's how quickly the team's counter attack on you. It's literally everything's off a quick. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute you've got the ball, and the next minute you're vulnerable because you're in a transition and you're losing the ball.
To be fair to Bentancur, those 2 injuries, because we saw him before, those 2 injuries have totally changed his career.
Yep.
Now that he's slower, you gotta get rid of him, because before then, in my opinion, he was with Harry Kane on that team. He was my player of the year going in before that injury happening, and ever since then, you haven't really seen the Bentancur that you see, you know, and because when Conte brought him in, it was almost like new life for him, you know, and we saw glimpses, and then we saw a good 3 months of him before that injury, before the World Cup, and the rest has been not good, you know.
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like the role was split between Højbjerg and Bentancur. So when Bentancur was aggressive, Højbjerg could defend and support under, and vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason, like what Marlon would say, with Basuma, he never trusted him tactically.
Yeah.
That's what it was for Conte. And now we're getting to see why in real life situation. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I was going to say. But I know time's getting on. Let's end the stream, man. Let's end it. Get out of this joint.
Ash, this must be what, your 3rd one of the day or your 4th?
Yeah, I'm hungry, bro. I'm starving.
All right, let's end it. Let's end it. First of all, want to thank all the guests that have come on tonight. Orin, Tom, who was brilliant, and Ian. Unfortunately, he just couldn't. He had sound issues, but they were brilliant. Mari, thank you as always. Mr. Lover, box office.
Boxed it.
But what I really want to do tonight is actually big up the chat, and everyone that's joined us tonight, because actually, again, there's been a lot of you in here tonight, and there's been a lot of other shows going on at the same time, and you chose us. You've chose to come to the Tuesday regular show. So big up to all of you that have watched tonight. And it's been great getting to all your opinions, and everyone that's subscribed as well, everyone that's viewed. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure for me and Ash. And thank you for all the support. It's been absolutely brilliant. Even though, we've had our arguments tonight, we've had our disagreements, but all of us will be messaging each other tomorrow going, what time next week? As we do. But Ash, any final words, man?
Yeah, man, you can catch the Rivals. I don't know if you lot saw Rivals last week, but it was a mad thing. I can't lie to you. Listen, Nottingham Forest That Forest fan's got a lot to answer for.
He came in on fire. He came with fire. He's got a lot to answer
He's
for.
got a lot of
Yeah.
Man, they were asking me, begging me, put him in the group. I said, no,
And-
he's not coming in the group. I'm saving him.
Saving him. He needs
I'm
to come
saving
in.
him for Wednesday. I don't want you lot to get air.
They got
That
cooked.
conversation needs to be had online. I'm not bringing man in. You get me? And I got a couple guys to battle Arsenal because Arsenal fit their back now, innit? So I have to get a couple City man in. You get me to battle.
Mate, you'll be arguing about that sending off for about 2 hours.
Yeah. If you get Stefan on the case, yeah, definitely. Bloody hell.
It's a conspiracy. Yeah, we're gonna get into
Bloody
it. Don't worry.
hell.
Well, guys, make sure you like this chat, as Mr. Box Officer said already. You know what I'm saying? Make sure if you don't like it, we don't get seen, basically. You're keeping us a secret. And I know you don't want to do that, but you have to share, man. Sharing is caring.
Well, if you don't appreciate the best thing on YouTube, Ashmatic, right? Sorry to time in, Bob, but I have to promote you guys, yeah. And the most underrated that everybody should be knowing this guy, but he's underrated and he gets some good views as well, by the way. Marlon, right? If you don't appreciate that, come on, like the ting, bruv. Like the ting. You know what I mean? You know, that should be a standard, bro. It should be a standard in the chat, bruv. You know what I mean? I want to see 100 likes. I want to see more than 100 likes on this stream right now. You know what I mean? And then knowledge. And knowledge to one. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people will be disliking it because of Oren earlier.
Yeah, but that should be even more likes. That should be even more likes.
No, man. Well, I'll be honest with you. Oren represents a lot of people in that stadium.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. No, he does. Yeah, they're slowly changing as the game goes by.
I see it, man. I see it. We're in our little bubble, and we think, blah, 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 but no, actually, no. There's a lot of people that disagree, and they're Levy in and Ange in. You know what I mean? Get behind the manager. What you doing? Get behind the club. Whoever puts the shirt on, you support them. What you got doing? So, big up Oren, man, giving us that. Standing on business as well. I like that.
Just not football. They don't go for football. But no, big up. Make sure you subscribe to Tottenham Away where Mari is on. He does his rival show. Obviously, subscribe to Mr. Box Office. Even if you love him or hate him, you know that smile. When he's smiling, you know he's cooking something in his head. As always, Ash is brilliant. As Mr. Box Office said, he's definitely brought a different level to this channel as well. So big up to Ash. And then obviously we're out. So make sure you tune in this week. I think you got anything coming on any other channels this week, Ash?
No, nothing. Probably we'll see what happens Thursday, man. You never know, man.
We always forget about Thursday.
Thursday could be full of surprises. We don't know what Thursday night might bring, you know.
But me and you are back together next Tuesday. I think I'm on last word this week again. After
Mana's got something cooking for the man them still. Mana's got something cooking. Can't even talk too much, but big up Mari is on Tottenham Away. Big up Tottenham Away. I know everyone's trying to get together and do this unison thing. It's not going to be easy though.
No, I agree.
Tottenham Away, I'll be real. There's a lot of haters on you lot side. I'll keep it 100. You already know anyway.
I know, but people are saying they're willing to come together, so I gotta see it to believe.
Hold on, that reminds me. Didn't Stel say he wanted to come on? Where is he?
Yeah,
messaged you.
Now, say we're still now.
I forgot. Do you know what? I think I was too busy arguing with Ori and I forgot.
Yeah.
Apologies, Stel. Apologies.
We'll get him on soon, man. It's all right.
We'll get him on soon.
I mean, if peace could come together, I mean, let's see it happen. You know.
If we brought Stell on though, I don't know if it would have been a good advert. I don't know. I think still had to be in his bonnet.
Wait. Let me calm it down. You know.
Look, to be fair,
I said,
I know I'm here for it, but you know, certain people they ain't got the stomach for it, so I hear it.
To be fair, as long as there's we can only get the message out as far as we can as YouTubers, yeah. All of us. This even goes for the big ones. It's gonna take. Change for Tottenham needs to come out of a concrete way because that seems to be the answer now, right? Going forward, Change for Tottenham needs to come out with something concrete over the next few weeks to get this movement going. Otherwise, it's going to fall flat on its face. If we go and beat Brentford and we go beat Liverpool, we've missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
So they've got to get the wheels in motion now while the heat is on.
Exactly.
And big up Jay, because Jay's been on this channel many times. And I'll try and get him on if I can. Me and Ash will try and interview him at some point this week if we can get him on. But yeah, let's see what happens over the next few weeks. It's time for not just us, not the podcast. It's not just about the podcasters. It's about everybody, the whole fan base.
Do your part, man.
Everyone's got to do a part. We've all got to do our part. And it's not even about, and for me, Levy out might not be the end, the goal that we get straight away, but we might be able to get them to change the way they're acting.
Yeah.
And that's the big key thing here. We need to get them to change.
Clip it.
Yeah. But we need to just all be together.
Yeah. It's
all
good.
of us.
It's good.
If you're Ange in, you Ange out, you leave it in. I mean, not leave it in. Leave it out or leave it out. We all need to be together, man. One fan base, one team, one Spurs.
We are, and that's the thing. We are Tottenham Hotspur. No matter what, like, we don't need to like the person next to us, but we're all supporting one club, and we all want to, we want to move forward with this. But it's a slow process. It's not easy. Remember, Mike Ashley took years to sell Newcastle, years, and they wanted him out.
Yeah.
So everyone expecting this to be a quick fix, it's not going to be. It needs to be the longevity of, we need to keep this going as long as we can. Remember, these are the longest serving owners in the Premier League. They have a big say on the Premier League table.
Yeah.
We forget all that. There's other factors into this, and it's just we just need to be together.
It's more than financials, people. It's more than finance. Everyone talks about the numbers. It's more than the finance.
Financials, yeah.
But club. Yeah.
But look, we've got people out there trying, and just we've got to do what we got to do. All of us will do what we got to do to help. But,
and believe it or not, they're working in silence, which I like. They're working in silence as well.
And that's the thing. We have to. You've seen if we put it all out on social media, what's happening? Club's shutting it down.
This is it.
Shutting it down straight away.
Big up CMO. Big up all my rivals, man.
Connor.
But yeah, man. Love and peace, man.
Peace.
Man,
thanks all. Cheers.
Another piece of hair grease.